And we're hot. Okay. Hey, everybody, before we get started, I just want to remind you this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Ahagao Comics, Qua, Drago66, and Nestor Flores. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can access episodes early. You can get access to the audio version. Lots of other fun stuff. And we really appreciate the support.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you hear me throw away something, that's because I think the very first start of this episode is going to be me admitting that I've already shot 20 minutes of video today already. Because there was a Star Wars announcement from Fantasy Flight, and I was like, ah, shit, I got to get on this. Because it's a big deal, because they're actually announced what chips they're releasing that are Clone Wars themed, so that's going to be a big deal. That video's literally processing right now, so hopefully my computer doesn't freak out. It shouldn't. It's just a quick video.
Oh my god, I'm doing so much shit right now. How dare.
But also, I want to say that because, or rather in the process of that, I am 2 coffees in already today. And I'm not sure they're working, so welcome to the professional tired boy life.
Professional tired boys. I am a professional sleepy boy because I've been up since 11 p.m. last night.
We have healthy lifestyles, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my goodness. Like, you actually, on that note, Omega has, coffee. I have Monster.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I do. I also bought alcohol to bring me back down. I'll probably get in the general chat later and, like, be Judge Lucky, and I'll let people talk when I say so.
Yeah, that's right. Wow, we actually have a busy show in that we have a lot of stuff we want to talk about, because that was sometime last week, in the last week or so, where you came. I think was that after a Let's Talk FGO?
That was after Let's Talk FGO.
Yeah, you went out to the bar and came back, and you got in voice chat, and were there for like 30 minutes. Then you left.
Yeah,
and I stuck around for like another hour before I was like, okay, I gotta go too, guys. It was an experience, but just randomly jumping in the voice channel, which, by the way, there's a public general voice channel that's open at all times. You can just hang out in there if you like, but that was something, because we attracted a lot of people fast.
Yeah.
Only a few people talked, maybe like half a dozen, but people got in there quick. And then you missed it. Pogs actually showed up a little bit at the end. Once you were already gone, Drunkman. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think Dallas showed up after you left, too. Like I said, I stuck around because I wasn't doing anything. But yeah, so we might do that more in the future.
Yeah, and the reason why I left so quickly, though, is because there were some individuals who were very talkative. I'm all like, man, I thought I'd talk a lot. No, this guy is going a mile a minute.
Yeah, no,
Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to stereotype our audience, but it's interesting to speak with our audience members. Yeah. And yeah, some of them are, I mean, we shouldn't say they're any worse than us, but some of them are definitely very much me high strung is not the right word, but it's the only one that comes to mind because I'm tired. But like, they're quick snap to people, always talking, got the next thought.
Yep.
You listening to a lot of people talk a lot back to back, you pick up on people's verbal tics very fast. And some people had some tics. Had some repeated phrases, which we do a lot.
Oh yeah.
What was that? That was like a couple days later. Burn was like, and the Omega no count goes up. And I'm like, no, you're not. I mean, you're not wrong. I have very carefully cultivated the habit of typing how I speak. So when I would pause in a conversation, that's where you're supposed to put a comma, and I still use pause words. I will throw a like in there or a yeah.
It's like literally just yeah, nah. It's not yeah, nah. It's yeah, nah. It's one word. It's 2 syllables.
You can work that into a haiku. Somebody actually challenged me to do a haiku earlier, and I was like, I half-hearted it, and then I finished with "It's snowing on Mount Fuji" because I was like, references.
Oh my god. I hope we get big like Game Grumps one day. I would love to do that kind of stuff.
Maybe someday.
Anyway, I'm going to use this to springboard into a slightly more serious topic, because over the past week, there in our Discord, which is basically our major hangout spot of the just throughout the day, is we had some concerns of members who weren't the most gracious in letting other people express themselves.
Yeah,
you think that would be a good way to put it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'll say this: as a person with social anxiety, publicly shaming individual people is like the nuclear option to me. I would never want to do that. And I will say that's not necessarily what this is, because this was not just. We got several complaints from several users about a few different people. It's not like we want to specifically single anyone out, but we did get some complaints pointed at specific individuals, but we got multiple complaints, I should say, which kind of, and these were given to several, actually they were given to mods. I don't think anybody actually approached us directly as the admins, which is interesting. Though I will say that I don't mind. Right. I don't mind because
it's literally the chain of command.
Yeah, and also, putting me on the spot like that. Listen, if you want to talk to me because I'm the loud guy with red text, that's fine. But also, man, there's some days, I'm like,
don't go to me. Lucky, guys not realize Lucky is a very cutthroat person. I see a problem, I will cut it off.
Yeah, I mean that's why I say it's okay to go to me. It's just. Don't necessarily expect me to act super fast, because you're gonna be like, shit, now I gotta fucking think about shit.
Yeah, we literally had to have like a couple meetings and discuss some things.
Yeah, and get some coffee.
About
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and get some coffee.
Yeah, because unfortunately, hey, guess what? Because the Discord is our community hub, we have loads and loads of people in here, including our patrons who support us with money every month. Like,
money!
I'm in there a decent amount of time, and it's usually one of my first stops in my day. So, you will very frequently get pre-coffee, pre-breakfast Omega in the Discord. That reminds me, shit. Me6 is fucking with me again. He didn't post today's video, did he?
Nope. No, he didn't.
Nope. No, he did not. All right, I'll do that later. God damn it, Me6. I don't know what's up with the bot, but he's very inconsistent. Sometimes he's like, boom, I got you right away. Like 10 minutes later, he's posting. And then there are times when he goes a couple days and he doesn't post anything. And then, of course, I only figure out he's posting videos again after I post a video, and like 5 minutes later, he posts them again.
Me6 is a sassy bot.
Yeah, very sassy. I should make a sass command. But yeah,
after a bunch of discussion...
Yeah. Oh. I was just going to say what you were going to say, I think.
God damn it! Okay, you go.
Well, basically, what we're both trying to say is it filtered up to the mods, which immediately the mods did the smart thing and they filtered up to us. And so it was like, okay, what do we do? We've gotten we've gotten our first real moderation complaints. I've moderated internet communities before, but usually we establish some of our rules beforehand and stuff. So this was like, okay, what do we got available to us? We figured out some of the tools. Interestingly enough, they're Me6's tools to warn people, mute or temp ban people. And so we kind of got together and we kind of decided some precedent. The first meeting was mostly just, okay, what can we do? And then the second time we got some complaints, it was like, okay, we got to do something. What are we gonna do? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna rewrite the rules. So I go into welcome. I've adjusted the rules, and so we had a specific adjustment. I cut some text out of another rule, and then Rule 5 was originally referred to our Rule 0. It was the classic, Rule 0 is don't be a dick, and then the 5th rule was always see Rule 0. I don't have enough space for that to stay in there as Rule 6, but just picture that our rules ends with the same announcement to go back to Rule 0. Yeah. But Rule 5 is now let people enjoy things. There is no need to jump into a conversation with what you don't like about it, because that's kind of the general feel of the complaints we were getting, was that some users had a tendency to accentuate the negative or constantly refer to others about certain things they did not like and characters they did not like repeatedly, and possibly there were a couple times where they inserted themselves into some conversations, and we kind of came to the conclusion, I used Lucky's phrasing on this, so I'm sure he'll want to kind of explain what he means by that, but basically the rule conclusion we came to is, okay, we're going to amend the rules, we're going to let everybody know, hey, we're officially making this a rule, so you're perfectly entitled if you have an opinion, a concern, a criticism about something, that's okay. If somebody asks you for your opinion, you can give it. Just, don't, if somebody's having a nice conversation, don't butt it, don't Kramer your way into the conversation and go, I do not like this thing. And then there was a notation which was, BT dubs, we have mod tools. We're gonna start policing this now if it comes up.
Yeah. So, like, when I say let people enjoy things, it's actually pretty simple. Everyone is different, and that means everyone's gonna have different likes to different degrees, and also different dislikes to different degrees. And sometimes those things aren't gonna match up with other people. But sometimes you have to, like, even if someone is talking about something you don't like, that is something that they like. That is something that brings them happiness, joy, brings a bit of positivity into their life. And you know what kind of, goes down on that? When you jump into that and you bring them down. Now, I'm not saying people do this intentionally. Like, honestly, 100% of the time, I don't think people are, like, literally in our community trying to bring other people down. They just have thoughts and they want to share them. But there is a thing called tact. Tact being basically knowing when to open your mouth. And when someone's trying to have a good time with the thing they love, telling them how much you don't like it is not good tact. Okay, so, like, I'm not gonna lie, there are plenty of things that, like, people are, like, saying, oh, I don't like this, or this thing is weird or something that I actually do like, but I just keep my mouth shut because this person has something they want to say. They want to vent. They want to rant a little bit. Trust me, I know 100% of that. Of sometimes you just want to get something off your chest and maybe find some like-minded individuals.
BT dubs, check out. I should look at rants on our channel.
There's also times when, you just want to, like, man, I just want to share this thing I found really fucking cool. And it brings me happiness, make it bring you happiness. And, you're totally within your way. So, like, that ain't really my thing. But, you do you. Enjoy that. But if you kind of say that in, like, a cynical or sarcastic, or you just flat out, like, just seeing, like, what is this? This is dumb. This is stupid. What is this? That's kind of hurtful.
Yeah.
So, you just have to consider it. What are you gonna, like, when you respond to someone? What are you gonna say? Like, is what I'm gonna say going to bring them down? I'm not saying be politically correct. That's something different.
Yeah, we're mostly just, like I said, your opinions, criticisms, concerns, whatever, those are perfectly valid for you. We are just asking you to express them in a tactful, polite, and civil way. And sometimes just if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
It's honestly,
because
it's
boy
honestly
howdy,
true.
we as the admin levels of this community, we're making the channel. There are plenty of times where we have to go. Gotta hold that in. Gotta hold that thought in. I'm just gonna go away for a while.
The final thing I put on this is, like, someone else liking something has zero effect on you.
Hi.
Zero.
Yeah.
All right.
And also, I mean, we can turn it to the flip side. Like, this is usually not a problem where people go, I can't believe you don't like this thing. Why don't you like this thing? Like, that happens sometimes, but that's not necessarily a normal thing for people, and we haven't really seen that be a problem. But technically, that flip side exists, right? Don't be pushy with your opinions either way. It's just most people are not necessarily averse to the idea of liking something.
Yeah. Actually, I had some interesting thoughts because of our conversations with voice and anime that I was thinking about. Because, you think we're done with this topic? You want to move on?
I mean, other than I do want to point out that when we made this rule, a couple of our users who were influencers in the making it of a hard and fast rule were perfectly okay to own up to it, and they were like, hey, feel free to call me out if I'm being an asshole. And I'm like, I respect that. That's good too. Like, that's self-awareness. Like, when you're like,
here's the thing.
Hey,
like,
just
I will say,
tell me if I'm being a dick. And I'm like, hey, that's okay. We can do that. I mean, we've had that conversation between you and me.
Oh, yeah. Like, because here's the thing. Here's, like, something that all humans should know. People rarely know they're doing something wrong until someone else tells them, hey, you're doing something wrong.
Yep.
Like, that is very true. If someone just thinks what they're doing is normal, it's how they usually act, and no one has said anything, they're going to continue acting in that same manner until someone tells them otherwise.
Social cues.
But speaking of, people liking and not liking things, it's like, here's something I've been thinking about recently in regards to anime. So we were talking to Voice, and he's been on, like, the past couple weeks, and we talk about Gridman and Bunny Girl Senpai, and Voice isn't really into those two shows. And Voice kind of has a critical eye, I would say. Like he knows the biz, he knows the names. You know, he's in there.
Also, so, I think it's fair to say that he clearly knows what he wants out of a show.
Yeah. And so he's like, Gridman, not for me. Bunny Girl Senpai, not for me. But there are plenty of other people who are like, these are the greatest goddamn things of all time. And so like I was doing so I basically gave myself a critical thinking exercise while at work, and I was all like, okay, so which input is more important? Let's say the input from one expert or the input from 10 common people. Because here's something that you run into a lot nowadays. You'll have these, you'll have a piece of media or art or something, what have you, and someone will say, this is a thing. Tell me what you think. You'll have, I'm just going to use 10 as an arbitrary number. You have 10 people be like, this thing's amazing. I love this thing. And then, and it's just common everyday people. Don't really know about the thing. They just see it, gut instinct. And you have your one expert on the other side who will analyze it, take it over, give it that critical eye, and go, no, this isn't good. This is a bad thing. So you have 10 people who don't know what they're talking about calling it good, and you have one person who does know what they're talking about calling it bad. Which one is more valid?
It's very interesting. You hear this a lot with lots of media. I think a good way to talk about it is critical dissonance. There are plenty of films where critics are like, this is amazing, this is great, or they're like, this is terrible, this sucks, you shouldn't like this. And then popular ratings, when especially with movies, you're interviewing people on the street corner, oh, do you like that movie? And people are like, yeah, I love that movie. Or people are like, I don't. I think it really depends on what kind of eye you're taking to the medium.
Yeah.
If you were looking in a while I do to some level think that every reader, every person experiencing the thing, as I wander my face around my microphone and try and find a good spot where I like how I sound, in case you've wondered why I've sounded weird the past couple seconds, but I think every person has every consumer of media, we'll say it that way, has should have the ability to form a critical opinion on some level. You should be equipped to be able to look at something from a critical eye and pinpoint, I like this aspect of whatever the media is. I like the presentation, or maybe I like this performance, and you should be able to say that specifically you like that and maybe give reasons why, or to understand the meaning in things, why did this happen, or why was this made this way, right? You should be able to, if you want to, look at it and understand critical details about it. However, not everybody is a professional critic, so if you don't want to look too deeply at the critical scheme, or you're just getting stuff for entertainment, I think it's perfectly understandable why we sometimes have these discrepancies, right? And as a critic, sometimes people get, the rude way to say it was sometimes they get a little too far up their own asshole, trying to find the artistry, the beauty of this work. This is going to be a legendary work of all ages. It is so dynamic and perfect.
That's a great voice.
And then your dynamic and perfect work flies over the head of regular people because they're like, yeah, I'm not trying to have a deep, profound experience on my life. I'm, spending $10 at the movies, or however the fuck expensive movies are these days.
They're 14.
Yeah, shit. I was ruined in my teenage years. I lived in a small town where they had $4 afternoon matinees.
What? Actually, I had those when I was a kid.
Yeah, this was still a decade or so ago. But yeah, no. So I'm ruined for the price of movies. I don't understand movie prices now. To me, a movie is something you could spend less than $10 on, but you really can't anymore.
Nope. I got a gift card though. I should go see something.
And that's why movie theaters are dying.
I miss drive-ins, excuse me.
Yeah, drive-ins are cool. The concept of going to the theater is cool. It's just they're not profitable, so there's so many millions of ads and trailers, and they're cold.
I will say though, I'm not gonna lie though, going to see anime movies on the big fucking screen, fucking best.
Oh yeah, no, that's cool, but that is actually a novel experience because that that used to not happen in this country.
No.
Like, are you a Studio Ghibli film? No, fuck you, no theaters. Are you Pokemon?
Actually, I'm curious. Let me see if Fathom Events are doing any new.
Well, I heard recently in response to the newest trailer for the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, I heard when talking about that Fathom is apparently doing some re-releases of some Dragon Ball Z movies.
Oh yeah, they're doing older ones.
Yeah.
Now let's see here.
Like,
let's see, Pokemon movie, Ghibli movies. I do love that Fathom Event actually legit has an anime section.
That's cool.
Let's see.
Also,
here.
that reminds me. Lucky, put a bullet point in this. Put a pin in this sticky note. We're going to talk about Princess Mononoke later.
Oh, we can totally get on some Studio Ghibli because I haven't seen Howl's Moving Castle. I'm gonna watch it like this weekend.
Neat.
But
I have seen Howl's Moving Castle. But yeah, you have an interesting question, and I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to it. I think it entirely depends on what the media is and what you as a consumer are looking for. Are you looking for like a well-made, well-constructed, art piece, or are you just trying to kill some time in your day? Because people enjoy entertainments for different reasons at different times.
Yeah.
Like, if I pick up a book and I read, I'm not usually in for some kind of deep, life-changing experience. I'm just, hey, I got a couple hours to kill. I want to read an interesting story. And I'm perfectly okay reading young adult trash or pulpy novels or rereading the X-Wing books for the 20th time. Seriously, I read the X-Wing books. At the very least, Wraith Squadron by Aaron Alston, may he rest in peace, at least twice a year. Just because I love those books.
Ooh. Guys, in case you don't know, if you like the movie Summer Wars and Wolf Children, the same company has released another movie called Mirai. And for us North Americans, Fathom Events will be doing a showing this Wednesday, December 5th and Saturday, December 8th. So go check that out because I love Summer Wars and Wolf Children, so I might go see this.
Mirai, huh? I think that's future? I don't know how it's written, though. God damn you, Japanese.
No, it's written like future, yeah.
Yes. Hey, I'm understanding things.
You're getting there. Oh man, Castle in the Sky is next. No, not next Sunday. It's Sunday after next.
I love Castle in the Sky. Let's talk about
Who
Ghibli
does not
now.
love? Okay.
let's fully transition into Studio Ghibli now because now I can't stop. God, I love Castle in the Sky. That's
Castle in the Sky is fucking the best. I don't care what anyone says. I will fight you.
I just feel like maybe it got a bad rap because it's older.
It might have got a bad rap because older. The dubbings were fucking horrible. Like, I didn't realize this until I actually watched the subtitled Princess Mononoke, but the dubbing, while it wasn't definitely the worst there had been, it was still pretty bad.
I mean, if you want to talk about Princess Mononoke is an interesting story, and I really like the English in that. But that's an interesting story because that was that was basically an adaptation script. Obviously, it wasn't, but it was written by Neil Gaiman.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote the adaptation and he got it to match the lip flaps perfectly. I feel like the contrast between like the Japanese and the English is kind of up and down. Like, on the one hand, Disney Miramax tried very hard. They got some very high level. I mean, Billy Bob Thornton's in the English dub. But at the same time, they're not necessarily voice actors though.
Yeah, see, here's the thing.
Which is
like,
some of the delivery is weird. That said, I really the English has some very good points to me. That might be missed in some of the Japanese too. Like but the older movies than that definitely have problems.
Yeah, like as I said, Princess Mononoke got dubbed in a time when anime coming over, it wasn't taking a serious thing.
Yeah,
serious.
It was the animation age ghetto problem. I think if you listen to DVD commentary, Billy Bob Thornton says he was in it because he thought it was a movie he could take his kids to see. You really can't.
No.
There's decapitation and stuff in Princess Mononoke. It's not like super bloody, but there's some stuff your small children probably aren't prepared to deal with.
But I will say there are parts in the dub that I still like because it was like one of the first Studio Ghibli films. It was one of the first anime movies I watched. Like, I'm one of those guys who got into anime and was like, oh, Akira, what's this? Changed forever.
Nice. But yeah, no, I feel like people just don't talk about Castle in the Sky, and I don't know why. I love it.
I don't know why either.
I mean, I'll admit I'm a sucker for like air stuff, but holy shit, I mean, goddamn.
No, it's all good. It is super good.
It's so good.
It's like Castle in the Sky has that sense of adventure, like full adventure.
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's an adventure film.
Like, it's an adventure, and growing up, that was my jam. Like My Neighbor Totoro, you know, that's more, you know, slice of life, heartwarming family stuff. You got I haven't seen Howl's Moving Castle. Spirited Away is more, what would I call that?
Spirited Away is definitely a growing up story.
Yeah, but it's a coming of age story.
Yeah, it's much less about, I mean, there's like mystical and magical stuff in there, but it's much more about dealing with stuff in your life as a small kid.
I don't think I've seen anything older than Princess Mononoke and My Neighbor Totoro,
I've seen Nausicaa, but I don't remember it well. I think I only saw it once.
Like, I don't think I've seen Earthsea. Like, Nausicaa? Yeah, I don't think I've seen Nausicaa either. What's the one with the pig that can, in the plane? Hoporoso, I think it is?
Yeah, something like that. Porcoroso? It's something like that.
There's a lot of Studio Ghibli films I've still not seen, but I have seen Princess Mononoke, have seen Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, Ponyo.
I mean, I think when, let's see, I don't know how long it goes with, but by the time Ponyo came out, I think you and I were both definitely out of the target demographic for that.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty well made.
Yeah, it was still pretty made. It was cute. As I said, like, I babysitted some kids and they had the movie and they fucking loved it. They go, Ponyo! Exactly like that.
Thumbs up.
So I watched it a lot. But, yeah, but Studio Ghibli is, like, super fucking great, because there's, like, going back to the thing, there are layers to Studio Ghibli films. Like especially in, Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke.
Oh, yeah.
There's some deep-seated messages.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of like, this. Like, if I had to, I'm bad at ranking things, I'll say. But to me, if I had to pick a generic top 3 Ghibli films, it would have to be Mononoke, Castle in the Sky, and Spirited Away. And Spirited Away is probably towards the more bottom, because that one wasn't as impactful and majestic to me as people thought it should be. Like, it has some good scenes, it's interesting, but it did not hit me as hard as I think, like, some people expected it to. But it was one of the first big deal movies in a while, because that was 2001. So that was like 4 years after Princess Mononoke. And it was a big deal in America.
I pulled up a fucking list here.
Yeah,
so
I'm looking at
Castle in the Sky was actually their first film.
Nice. Maybe that's why nobody remembers. I mean, it's got a fucking 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, though, according to Wikipedia here.
Let's see. And then, so that came out in 1986.
So that movie is older than I am, everybody.
Yeah. It's older than I am. Next came out in 1988, Grave of the Fireflies. I watched that when I was in high school. I died.
Yeah, that's a sharp swing from Castle in the Sky to Grave of the Fireflies.
Yes, it is. But also that same year, My Neighbor Totoro.
The same month, even. My Neighbor Totoro. Jesus. But that was that's
a 1-2 punch right there. Let's see here. In 1989, Kiki's Delivery Service. I think that was the first movie I think I saw on television. Like one of the first anime movies I saw on television, I think. I can't remember.
I can't remember.
But I remember I saw it.
Kiki's Delivery Service. By the way, also I want to point this out. This is always weird for us to say, because it's strange, right? That our so by the way, there's a point though. Technically Nausicaa is before, but it was released. Nausicaa is a Miyazaki movie, but it's not technically a Ghibli film, because it was before the studio was officially founded.
Oh, okay.
But I'll say this. This is weird for us to say, because it's, funnily enough, I feel like a lot of our more vocal audience skews younger than us. But at the same time, for nerd cred's sake, I want to say, while I have gone out of my way to watch a few things that are older than I am, once again, it is important to remember, I was born in 92. I'm almost 26. Some of these are older than I am, and so it's like, well, I can't believe you don't know whether or not you've seen all of Kiki's Delivery Service. It's a couple years older than me, and for a lot of those intervening years, I was not a conscious remembering human. who did things. Like, I didn't start watching anime until, like, the 2000s.
Yeah. So, let's see here. So, that was 1989. 1991, Only Yesterday. Never seen it. Never heard of it, actually. Let's see here.
Well, it's also important to remember that only some of these... This is Studio Ghibli's works. Only some of these are by Hayao Miyazaki.
Yeah. This one is Hayao Miyazaki. Porco Rosso, 1992. It's a pig in a plane. I have no idea what it's about, but I hear it's really good.
I mean, it's got a plane
this is not a Miyazaki. Pom Poko. It's a movie with the giant swinging tanuki testicles. Let's see here. 1995, Whispers of the Heart. This was a Miyazaki film, but was directed by someone else, Yoshifumi Kondo. Oh, wow. Sounds familiar. Dude, fucking Princess Mononoke came out in 1997.
Yeah, it did.
I kind of swear, I kind of feel like it should have been older than that, but no.
I mean, it's kind of a timeless movie. Like, it really is. It's pre-CG Revolution, so it's full of these beautiful fucking matte paintings. And, like, oh my god, the environmental design in Princess Mononoke is fucking phenomenal. Like, there are so many, like, beautiful wide shots and tracking shots, and this is all by hand animation at the time, I'm pretty sure. Like,
well, Jesus, no, actually, here, the first Miyazaki film to use computer graphics, and the first Studio Ghibli film to use digital coloring, the first animated feature in Japan's history to gross more than 10 billion a year at the box office, and the first ever animated film to win the National Academy Award for Best Picture of the Year, Princess Mononoke.
Nice. So they did use... Well, yeah, I bet they probably used computer modeling on some of the, like, demon effects.
Yeah, no, like the first Studio Ghibli film to use computer graphics was Pom Poko, the one that came out, like, 3 years before it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
it's not like how we talk about CG these days in anime, where it's like very clearly we're dropping a 3D model.
No, it was subtle shit.
It was like, okay, we need to, like, we've got our shot, we need to digitally pan or digitally zoom in on a cell, or we're going to, like, add a slight computer effect to this animation.
All right, so 1999, My Neighbors the Yamadas. That was not Miyazaki. That was Isao Takahata. Spirited Away. That's a Miyazaki. Let's see here. Spirited Away was actually the first Miyazaki feature to be shot using a 100% digital process. The first Studio Ghibli one was My Neighbor the Yamadas. Spirited Away was the first film to gross 200 million worldwide before opening in North America. It was the film that finally overtook Titanic at the Japanese box office, becoming the top grossing film in the history of Japanese cinema. The only anime, the non-English speaking and traditionally animated winner so far of an Academy Award of Best Animated Feature.
Yeah, that's why I think that's why everybody remembers Spirited Away. It was a huge deal. It was a
huge deal. It is.
But at the same time, like we're saying, like thematically, I think we prefer some of the other earlier movies slightly over it.
Yeah, like that was 2001. 2002 was The Cat Returns. That was Hiroyuki Maruda and Reiko Yoshida. His voice here, is he going to yell at me for butchering names? No. Okay, I'm safe.
No, he's not here. It's only Axe.
Okay.
Axe me and hundreds of viewers in the future. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about their criticism yet.
Oh no! Once it's in comments, I don't care. But when it's live, well, I'll get into that later. Where was I? All right. So 2004, the one that I'm gonna try and watch this weekend is Howl's Moving Castle. That's a Miyazaki film,
which I have seen. Howl's Moving Castle. It's all right. I mean, I feel like that's kind of how people feel about it when it came out. It was like, okay, it's all right. It's not Spirited Away, but it's all right.
2006, Tales from Earthsea. That was done by, I believe, Miyazaki's son?
I mean, same last name, so I assume it's his son.
That's what I heard. 2008, Ponyo, Miyazaki film.
So I think Tales from the Earthsea was after the first time Miyazaki retired, and then Ponyo was the first time he unretired.
Yep.
which he has done a couple of times.
2010, Arrietty. Miyazaki did not direct it, but he was the screenwriter.
Mm-hmm. Same
Along
for from Up on Poppy Hill, which was a year later.
Yep. Let's see. The Wind Rises was a Miyazaki film. I have never heard of this one.
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
Also in 2013, The Tale of Princess Kaguya. No, it's not a Miyazaki work, but wow, it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, according to Wikipedia. That was retrieved July 5th, 2016, though. So who knows? It might have changed by now.
Yeah.
And let's see here. 2014, When Marnie Was There. Not a Miyazaki film. But let's see here. Got like
and then in 2020, upcoming, apparently, he's got How Do You Live, which is an upcoming film. It's going to be released, I think, to coincide with the... Okay, so it's supposed to be before the 2020 Tokyo Summer Olympics. But it's not hard and fast. Adaptation of a book, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Studio Ghibli, very renowned film. Miyazaki particularly. Great director, great writer.
I like how they always try to keep that old style of art.
Oh yeah, it's got a very definite art style. Like if you've played Ni no Kuni, that's in the Ghibli art style, and I assume it's the same. They did the actual like insert animations and stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's a JRPG I haven't beaten yet. The first one. I haven't even bought the second one.
Do you know what's hilarious? Studio Ghibli did like work on J Cocoon and J Cocoon 2. That's blowing my mind. I had J Cocoon 2 and I fucking loved that game. God. It was such a weird game, but it was so cool. Like literally, it was like a Pokemon game that wasn't Pokemon. You get monsters, you raise them, you get them stronger, you go fight other dudes with monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
But anyway, this question came up because, for reasons of my own, I just randomly decided to watch Princess Mononoke again sometime in the week, which is a little bit of an investment because it's a 2-hour film.
Yep.
But I still love it. It's still great. Is it Blanc?
More Blanc.
But yeah, no, it's still really good. Like there's a lot of impactful stuff in the whole movie. That's the word I'm looking for. And lots of interesting themes, like stuff that stuck with me. I think I first saw it on, I'm gonna say, Adult Swim. When Adult Swim would occasionally just show anime movies some weekends. That's how I saw like almost all the Inuyasha movies. Saw another couple of great ones.
Man,
but they were
people don't understand how much of a debt they hold to Cartoon Network for having Toonami and Adult Swim.
Yeah, they do. Those guys, I think, kept the anime alive as like a serious thing over here. Barring your diehards who were like, I've been importing Japanese VHS tapes and manually inserting subtitles and other shit like that. Like, I'm sure there's real hardcore people out there who were following the medium for a while, but no, like, especially like, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, you had your 4Kids or your Fox Saturday morning dubs, which were super whitewashed. Heavily edited and censored. And so kind of forced anime to people to think of anime as a little kid thing. And
well, there was also like occasionally they would show anime movies on Sci-Fi Channel.
There was a point in time where Sci-Fi tried to have an anime block. I don't think it worked out very long, but they showed the dub of MTV TTGL. Yeah,
I remember MTV tried to show anime at some point too.
Tech TV and or G4, I don't know if it was before the merger era, but they had some times where they tried to show just rando anime pilots. I think I watched,
but no, like
all of
Magical
Shopping Arcade Benabashi.
You got there was the international channel, which would have anime on random times, like because that's how I saw my first I guess I'll call it it was full on yaoi. My first yaoi anime, it was Earthian.
the boys love.
Earth. Yeah, let me see.
But yeah, no, Adult Swim was the one consistently being like, "Yo, here's Inuyasha, here's Bleach, here's Full Metal Alchemist," and every once in a while, like I said, they would throw up anime movies. They would block out a couple hours because you need a couple hours to show a fucking anime movie, and they just throw it up there. I still have VHS tapes of the first 2 Inuyasha movies, which were recorded off Adult Swim with Adult Swim insert ads.
God, I love Adult Swim insert ads. That's what Editor Lucky is trying to do at the beginning. He just hasn't found his groove yet.
Well, yeah, and that's why I specifically was mentioning that I'm pretty sure I saw Princess Mononoke on Adult Swim because they advertised it with like lines from the movie, like see with eyes unclouded, stuff like that. That really stuck with me, and a lot of the themes in that film have stuck with me. I think over the ages, since when I first saw it, like because it's a. I've heard some people kind of criticize, like, oh, it's, it shows that 2 sides of the story are right, but one side of the story is obviously right? I'm like, no, I don't think so. Having watched it, you think, oh, the trees are actually the good guys. I don't think the work actually 100% locks that down. If you come to that conclusion, that's you. You have come to the conclusion that the trees were right all along, because while obviously there are things the humans do that are bad, like Lady Eboshi's just trying to survive in a harsh time.
People. Yep.
Right.
Protect people.
She cares for prostitutes, for lepers, though they get fixed in the end. That was a subtle shot I didn't notice until somebody pointed out, and I looked for it on the rewatch. But after the Great Forest Spirit gets his head back and kind of explodes over everything, and everybody gets healed, there is like a 2-second split-second shot of one of the lepers who was with Toki, and her bandages are falling off, and she's not like scarred or anything. She's like perfectly healed. That's good attention to detail, guys. But yeah, no, like Eboshi's just trying to live her life being attacked by samurai who in this time period, because it's like mythological, but it's also kind of a period piece, like historical. And like there's samurai mobs just running around stabbing dudes. That's totally accurate to that time period. They were just soldier guys doing soldiery things.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
So it's not like she's without external pressure that drives her, and like, yeah, okay, the firearm stuff's kind of like, yeah, it feels like she's bringing industry to kind of like replace the natural world as the natural order of things, but she's still not necessarily like, the story doesn't necessarily weigh on the favor of the forest spirits, because like San's not a perfect character either. She's very childish and petty and focused on killing Eboshi for no other reason than just, I don't know, that's what I'm supposed to do. Like, and the boars are really dumb about how they go on about it, and they're like super aggressive and stuff. Like, both sides are flawed, and that's the whole point of the work. That's why Ashitaka is there. They say you should see with eyes unclouded by hate, to kind of like, hey, take a step back, take an eyeball at the situation. And he very much comes to the conclusion, like, you guys don't really have to fight each other like this, per se. Like, we could achieve peace. Because let me tell you what happens if you keep this cycle of hatred going. Which I said earlier, I have some favorite scenes. Like, the conclusion is cool and all, but I think the first act climax is my favorite sequence, when San attacks Iron Town. It's got some of my favorite moments in the film. And we may have tangentially spoiled some stuff, but the movie is like over 20 years old at this point, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's real good, yo.
It's still real good, so you should go and see it if you haven't anyway. But like, if you haven't seen it, it's your own fucking fault. It's been out for 20 years.
It really
which reminds
has,
me, I'm still back on the DVD era. I need to upgrade to Blu-ray sometime for that sweet high def.
Like, actually, that's something that I'm trying to do now. Like, now that, like, I have a bit more income, I'm able to, like, buy more things I want. Thank you, all you Patreons who support us. That's one of those things I've been thinking about. It's like, because I recently started buying light novels, and I was thinking about it, and I just realized I do not own, like, a single anime on disc. Like, a single one.
Yeah, like, I've taken steps to, like, I own Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, all of it on Blu-ray. I own all of Eureka 7 AO on Blu-ray. I own all of the original Eureka 7 on fucking DVDs, where you get like, I had to buy like 12 discs or whatever because it's a 52 episode anime series. Remember those days?
I do. I remember like when I was back in the Navy, I bought anime discs all the fucking time, but then I realized that's a horrible idea because I only got so much storage space. Thank God for CD buyers, but goodbye all you wonderful cases.
Yeah, I got a super full DVD set. I should take a picture of my shelf. I got some shelves that are full of some shit that I should show people sometime.
Yeah, so like that's one of those things I've been looking at, because I've told people I've recently been buying light novels. Like as I said, I got like the first 3 volumes of Goblin Slayer. I got the first 3 volumes of That Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime. I got the first 6 volumes of Spice and Wolf, and the first 2 volumes of Saga of Tanya the Evil. Because guess what? I love all these titles. And like I'm probably gonna buy sometime this month the 6-book special edition of the Bakemonogatari series will be available to order. I'm probably gonna get that. Like I just realized like the first 2 books of A Sister's All You Need has come out, and the Blu-ray's like dropping this month too. So I'm like, oh my god. Guys, if you haven't seen A Sister's All You Need, you really should. Did you watch it, Omega? I forget.
No, I don't think so.
Well, as I said, but I'm going to give you the disclaimer. Watch past the first scene. I swear to God, that is not the actual anime. I'm pretty sure...
We've said that about a couple of shows, I think.
Yeah, no, it's really fucking bad, though, in A Sister's All You Need, because it's literally like... A Sister's All You Need is about a light novel author who has a big fetish for little sisters. And like the opening scene is him basically who's given a rough draft to his editor, and they basically animated that, but you don't know that until after the scene is like, and it's some creepy ass fucking shit. It's like no, it's quite a turn off. I'm pretty sure some people like got 2 minutes into it and just fucking turned it off and never touched it again. But get past that, and it's a really, really good anime. I fucking love it. So, like, that's what I'm like. So, I'm going to do. I'm going to buy the light novels. I'm going to get the Blu-rays. I'm going to tell these people over in Japan's lands, I support this. I want more of this. And also, I just want, like, because eventually one day me and Omega are consolidate, and I just want shelves upon shelves of nerd shit, all right?
I would love to have more space to just physically stash some shit.
Yeah.
Like, if we get official StudiOmega office, an official studio, there's going to be display cases.
There's going to be display cases. There's going to be shelves of games. And I'm going to make them all tax deductible. I was like, no, these are for work.
I mean, they would. At that point, they would be.
Yeah.
No, these are work expenses. Hey, can we get the platinum black business credit card out? They're releasing a new console. We need to buy it. Oh, that's the real dream when your entertainment becomes your work, and not a shitty way, and you can just be like, yeah. So as a business expense, we need to buy like 4 PS5s for the office.
But where was I going with this?
You were talking about supporting the industry.
Yeah, so supporting the industry, and I guess I'll talk a little bit about anime. By the way, Omega, have you caught up on anything recently?
No, I kept current with Goblin Slayer and Slime, but I have not. I basically, when I should have watched new anime, I spent 2 hours watching Princess Mononoke instead. I feel like it was a fair deal.
So I'm gonna talk about 2 quick animes here real quick, and then I'm probably just gonna leave it off, unless Omega wants to talk about it, because we gotta talk about some video games, like for real, yo. So first, the first anime I want people to think about. It's airing this core. It's called Skull-Faced Bookseller Honda-san. It's basically based off a manga, and the author of this manga was actually worked at a bookstore in Japan. And when he quit that job, he basically, picked up his pen and drew about it and made characters out of everybody. So you basically get a look at how Japanese bookstores work in a very, very hilarious fashion. It's great. Like, these are the kind of animes I really like, is when you can learn something and be entertained at the same time.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
So like they talk about like having to deal with like foreigners, and they turn about dealing with publishing companies, help seminars, all this stuff, all while the main character is a skeleton. Just literally a skeleton. Nothing but bones. It's fucking hilarious. The animation style, art and animation style is very unique. It's not very like, oh god, what's the style I want to kind of, when it's just like you're not actually animating, you kind of just have like you just have a 2D image and you move it around. Maybe you like actually do the flip motion, it'll be something else.
Yeah, I don't. Think of it. There's definitely like a style for that certain sort of minimalist.
Yeah, it's very minimalist animation style, but it works because, as I said, it's more. The episodes are only like, I want to say like 15 minutes long, which is something I think is like wholly unique to like anime. Like we don't have
the fact
like
that their TV allows that. Yeah, that's like something you only get on Netflix shows sometimes.
Yeah, like here, let's get this super short. We're gonna slot it in here, and
that's
you know
how we talked about this before. Was it on Power Hour or something? But that's how Gretsuko was.
Yeah,
it was like 10 to 15.
But you know what? It's great. That means it's like you only spend like 10 to 15 minutes like watching it, but you still get a lot of information and entertainment. So it's like it's compact entertainment, and I like it. So like if you want to, if you want to learn more about like if you want to have like you want to laugh a bit and learn something about how Japanese bookstores are, check out Skullface Bookseller Honda-san. It's on Crunchyroll right now or via Witchcraft. The other one I want to talk about, probably not as many people are going to like, but I'm going to mention this anyway because it struck a chord with me. It's called Himote House. It is a very poorly CG animated, like 15-minute short about, I want to say 5 girls. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's like, these are 4 or 5 girls and a fucking cat who all live in the same house and they all have fucking superpowers, but they really don't use the superpowers for anything except maybe like, they don't use the superpowers for anything except to do weird shit, and they're trying to get boyfriends. Doesn't ever really work. As I said, it's a lot of bad CG and a lot of gags, which are pretty funny at times, and the voice actresses are hilarious. But the thing that sticks out to me the show the most is actually the end segment, where basically after the show, they basically cut to a shot where all the girls are like getting ready for bed, and they just do improv. And the thing about this improv is, like, here's the thing, I'm not entirely sure about this because I haven't looked into it, but it sounds like the girls, like the voice actresses, literally have no script. They're literally doing just real improv with the character, which is something I find really, really interesting and entertaining at the same time. Because, like, I don't know, Omega, have you noticed like how different like Japanese people talk in real life or how they talk in anime?
Oh yeah, no, that's a subtle thing you have to pick up on, but like, it's not obvious at first, but actual anime dialogue is super melodramatic for the Japanese. Like, they use a lot of archaic words and phrases you don't hear a lot in modern Japanese, and the energy is different. Whereas if you ever hear like and obviously it's scripted. Whereas if you ever hear those voice actors like talk normally, like in like an interview or a panel or something, hey, guess what? They use as many pause words as we do in English.
Yeah, they do. And so this segment is filled with that, and it's one of those things that are entertaining because it's literally them trying to do impressions or improvs, come up with situations or get out of situations. And I feel like that's a little bit of a glimpse like beyond the characters into like other people and just like who they are as people, which is something that's kept me coming back to the show. It's like I come for like to see the end segment, and then there's like 10 minutes of just like gags and CG.
Honestly,
that I have to get through.
If it is improv, that may be why it has such poor computerized animation, so they can adjust it. Because guess what? If it's done scripted, what the fuck you got a storyboard?
That's true. Well, actually, here's the thing. Like, the improv sessions, they don't actually have the CG. They literally do, like, 2D pictures over it.
Wow, yeah.
So that's probably saying, it's like, okay, we're going to record this. This is what they talked about. Give me some art. That's probably what they did. But I said they're both. Like both those shows are only like 15 minutes, like per episode. They're a real quick watch. I say, guys, give Honda-san is just good from the go, but give Himote House like get to the end, like see if you like the whole like as a whole. But that's what I got for anime this week.
Yeah, though you touched on something interesting I remember from my creative writing classes, which is the professor said to act, one assignment was listen to people talk and like, check out their conversations. And that's the difference between scripted speaking and natural speaking, you've definitely hit the head on there. Like, we talked about this with, like, people use pause words. When you're talking to somebody, you don't usually refer to them by name or anything, because obviously if you're talking to a specific person, they can tell.
Yeah.
But when you're, doing, like, scripted dialogue, maybe they can't tell, because the person the dialogue is to is not actually that person, it's to the audience. Lots of interesting stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, we don't really, I think, other than basically I told everybody that our whole getting into the whole Studio Ghibli thing was because I watched Princess Mononoke. That's really all the anime stuff I got to talk about. Slime's still good. Goblin Slayer still goblin. We're moving into the next plot point, so it was a very set up episode this week.
Yes, it was showing that Goblin Slayer isn't just all slaying isn't just
Goblin
all...
Slayer tries very hard not to just be all slaying goblins all the time. But boy, howdy, does he really like slaying goblins. He gave those kids some great practical advice. I lost my sword. Use a club.
Use a club. The only thing that makes me sad is because here I go comparing it to the light novel. Is that in the light novel, the boy actually comes up with an idea to tie a tassel to his club so he doesn't drop it, and Goblin Slayer goes, that's a good idea. I should try it out sometime.
They probably should have left that in, but at the same time, I wonder if maybe that extra detail would have hurt the pacing.
Yeah, it might have.
I guess the question is, does Goblin Slayer ever actually try that in the light novel?
I can't remember.
Because if it doesn't actually come up, then it's like, okay, we're editing this. There's no point in including it.
Yeah.
Excuse you. It's the monster.
Excuse me. It's the monster. It's the monster coming out. But I tell people, like, Goblin Slayer has, like, several levels to it, depending on how far deep you get. Like, the whole, like, I might use an idea is, Goblin Slayer, actually showing that he can connect and talk to other people, because he's still kind of a fucking machine,
Yeah.
So, that's the point. But if they have other ways, because they're going to do it, that'll be alright. Because, like I said, we still got... We're not even, like, halfway through the core, are we?
No. We're on, what, 5s and 6s?
Yeah. We're about to hit that point. So, they still got some time.
God, fuck. I got stuff to catch up on. Banana Fish number 5 is still sitting there, queued up. It's been there for months.
Yeah.
I'll get there someday. I really like Banana Fish. I just don't have fucking time. God damn it. Somebody in our Discord posted the perfect image, which was...
I remember that.
It's got a typical anime girl with, like, a me over it. There's a giant heavy case that says plan to watch list, and the subs are, it's heavy. And I'm like, accurate. That is how life works.
Yeah, it is. As I said, like, I'm super behind on Banana Fish. I found out it was on Amazon Prime. Hell yeah, I can watch this. Then I saw they had Drop Kick on My Devil, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna watch it right now. If you guys have Amazon Prime, check out Drop Kick on My Devil. It's a fucking gag comedy about a gothic Lolita college student who accidentally summons a devil who keeps trying to kill her so she can go back to hell, and yet fails horribly constantly. It's like, it's pretty bloody. And it's pretty funny. I loved it. I laughed the entire time. Go check that out too. I feel like I have one more thing to say about anime, and I just totally
I don't think you did, because you said that the last thing would be your last thing.
Yeah, that was my last thing. All right, cool. I have phantom thoughts, but aren't all my thoughts phantoms?
Ugh. All right, let's talk about video games. Which one do you want to get in first?
Let's get we're going to talk about VC4 first, because that one, it has a more concise ending than the other one, because the other one is way open.
True.
So,
in more ways than one.
Yeah. So I want to say we had like an argument, but I had to pester Omega over this one for a little bit because I needed some goddamn answers.
Yeah, you need some clarification, because I had some strong feelings. I got to some chapters in VC4. I did a new recording session. You've seen a couple of them. Chapter 9, the Chimera one's out already.
Yeah.
The next one, which is lovingly titled Prelude to a Rage Quit, because there is a literal rage quit in it. I'm not kidding. I don't even let the mission time me out. I'm like, fuck you, mission. I'm done. The episode ends. I don't let it beat me on its terms. That one hasn't come out yet. I don't know when exactly it will, because I got some stuff in the backlog to schedule. So we'll see, but it's filmed. And basically the question came up, like, because there'd been some talk about the Chimera mission and like, oh, is it hard? Is it not hard? I'm like, I mean, other than the obvious complaint where like, yeah, if you know the exact twist already, you could totally have set up and be ready to like A rank it immediately, right? Like the usual VC4 bullshit of like, well, if you knew what the twist was going in, like if you were playing the map a second time, you would instantly be able to ace it. I still got a B in the first time. It wasn't that hard. I finally got to blow up that smug prick Klaus. I got him. Which was I confirmed. I did science. I confirmed a theory because that was the episode we talked about where he can revive people you shoot with an order, but he can't revive soldiers whose bodies you touch because they are removed from the map. Yeah. So science.
You know, it's a little bit of a balancing factor. So guess
the
what?
Second, I actually really like the Chimera mission, which was why the second one that I recorded that session, because this was the same recording session, was a bit of a shocker. And as I said, I rage quit. I had thoughts and feelings, and I expressed them to people on the Discord. I'm like, this was a big 180 flip, and I told people, hey, I legit look out for this episode. I legit rage quit a map. And so I was like, I listed my concerns, and Lucky, you came and were like, hey, I'm gonna need you to explain what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. Because
well, go ahead and explain it.
Well, because here's the thing, because like that same mission, my troubles were literally on the exact opposite end of his concerns. Like, legit opposite. Like, the part he had trouble with, I fucking blew past, like, no problem. So that's why I was like, why the hell would he have such a hard problem with this? Like, did he misunderstand the instructions? Was he trying something different? Like,
so the technical answer is yes, I was trying something different. But how would I have known?
Yeah, and
I clipped this out. I literally, I went into VLC Media Player and I clipped out the chunk where it happens in the recording, and it was like, "Hey, Lucky, check out this like 20-second video clip because this is what threw me for a loop."
And I saw it. I knew exactly what went wrong, and then I thought about it. I'm like, no, this is a game design issue. This is a legit game design issue.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, because I know there are still some people who are like, "Hey, no VC4 spoilers." We'll keep it generic for you, but there is a mission-critical objective where you need snipers to hit certain targets. Fun fact, if you use the 3-shot sniper rifle, it does not have the range to hit the targets, and thus you lose. You just game over.
And here's the thing. I was thinking about that. And I don't think at any point in the game does the game actually put range into detail.
No. It just says you will need snipers to hit the targets, and they have to be in this area. And you can see in the clip that I showed Lucky, and you'll see in the full episode, I get a sniper, I take her up to the target point, it's Neige, and I put her about as close to the target as you can go. Miss. No effect on target.
And I was thinking about that. It's like...
And we should point out, this is clearly an arbitrary cutoff, because you can see the bullets physically strike the model. They just don't do anything, because they're not in range.
Yeah. It's a damage drop, basically, is what it is.
Yeah.
Basically, the further it goes, the damage is dropped. Because, fun fact, even if something is out of range, you can still hit it with a goddamn anti-tank lance. Because I do it all the fucking time. Oh, it's out of range.
Yeah, you can still hit things. It's just most of them go into that question mark phase, which is like, yeah, you're not doing enough damage to kill them anytime this week.
Yeah, and if it's even further out, they just don't pull up anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're like literally doing no damage. And that's what happened. And I was all like, wait a minute. Why the fuck would there be an option? Because, like I said, you get 3 different sniper rifles you can use. One is the standard, which is what I usually go with.
Yeah.
Because, as I said,
honestly, in general, this has been a problem since VC1. Usually, you just want the generic rifle. It's the best rounded, and so it's like, oh, I can get a slight bump in accuracy at the expense of a little bit of damage. Well, does that actually help you? Because most of the time, if you need that maximal accuracy, you're using a character type who will usually be there are plenty of snipers who will activate their super accuracy and reduce their accuracy bubble to like a dot, and you're like, I don't need an accurized sniper rifle for this, guys. I think I got this.
Or they get enhanced zoom and they can just make the head just literally fill up the whole
circle. Oh yeah, no. The fact that you can adjust the telescopic sight too is also just, let me just dial it in real tight. That's your face hole.
But basically, like, the snipers have 3 rifles. They have their standard rifle, which is, middle of the road, be good for. They have their super far, super accurate rifle, it's low damage, and then they have a 3-shot, like higher damage rifle, which has significantly lower range.
And technically, it has lower damage per shot, but the idea is that with a 3-shot burst, you will drop more enemies that way.
Yeah, and here's the thing: like that range is like the range is low enough that you can't complete the objective, which means basically the game has literally put a hard stop on what your equipment loadout can be. You might still get 2 out of the 3, but they're still restricting your equipment in trying to complete this objective.
Without telling you and without forcing you to pick a different one. And I even found out this later. There's basically a bomb in the game because I went into R&D later because I've been... my approach to solve this solution is basically to grind up an extra couple orders to make it easier and to kind of like round out my units a little so I'll be prepared. And then I'm gonna do probably some cheeseball shenanigans just because I'm like 110% done with this map. Like I said, one of the things we're going to do is I'm going to make Nasia squad leader so she can't die. Because I've heard the fucking twins will, like, climb up after your snipers. And I'm like well, this sounds like a bad idea. I'm not scared of the twins because I have invested very thoroughly into the Hafen, and I plan to just bully them with a giant tank. But I also know that can go sideways if you don't do it right.
Yep.
But, so, I went into R&D to check, and hey, guess what? Unlocking that map means you can buy another level of a 3-shot rifle. Hey, guess what happens when you buy a new weapon? It automatically equips to all your units who are not using, like, unique weapons.
Yep.
So if you bought it and then don't double-check your weapons, since the game does not let you know you need an extreme range, you could fuck yourself over without ever realizing it, which was really where my confusion was. I will say this is a slight improvement. Usually VC4 drags out the trauma, like I talked about this with like the Through the Flames mission, where it's just like Klaus just exists to fuck your shit up. He can't actually win against you on his own, and so the game doesn't necessarily force you to replay all that shit over again, but at the same time it's really annoying and frustrating because you're like, what the fuck can I do about this situation, right? You can clutch with Kai is how I won. Thank you, Kai, for having the ability to regain your own ammo. Woo. And also that I grinded so that she could do interception fire. That was it. That saved me. But this was like, yeah, no, if you don't get your shit together in 2 turns, you're done. You hit the objective limit and you're done. And I'm like, okay, on the one hand, good on you for ending the pain quickly, but goddamn, that's a short amount of time for you to realize what you're doing. So the first turn I was like, okay, I have no idea if what I'm doing is right because I whiffed it. And then the second turn was just like, oh, so because I was so confused the first turn, none of my units are in the right place for the second turn. It's over. And then I was like, fuck you, map. I'm done.
Done. He's out.
Drop the mic. Out.
And I was thinking about this, like, as I said, like, because unfortunately when I'm working, I don't have to, like, to do a lot with my mind, so I think a lot about shit I want to talk about. And honestly, like there's a lot of games out there where you need the one perfect build to accomplish it. Like, games like Dark Souls series, fucking, like, Bloodborne, like, hard-ass games. Like, you got to find that most optimal strategy, the optimal loadout and all that stuff. VC4 isn't that kind of game. VC4 is supposed to be a game where you can kind of find your own way to victory, like find your own.
Yeah, you're very flexible. Like I personally prefer to make a balanced team, but you could most of the time you could just horseshit your way with like shock troopers and scouts. Like there are a couple maps where hard and fast you're like, well, you need a little anti-armor, but if you wanted to, fuck it, you could just throw an engineer and be like, hey, Hafen, unlimited ammo, keep going.
Yeah, like, you can kind of, like, do things how you want to do them. And so the fact is, like, when they have to, like, say, no, you specifically need this here with this, it's like, that's, like, what if that person, like, what if a person wasn't really too keen on using snipers and stuff? Or maybe they like getting close and personal and all that crazy stuff, so maybe their snipers did have, like, the 3-round burst. They'd have been completely fucked. This is, like, I like playing fast and loose. I like adapting on the fly. This is why, like, as long as, like, one of my guys don't, like, die, I keep going.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Like, I complain about about how some of the twists and turns are, like, really unfair and, like, they fuck over your ability to kind of, like, play fast and loose in the front half. But, like I said, most of the time they don't actually kill me. The maps I've mostly had to restart have been, were squad stories where just those are always like really weird, janky situations because they want you to play with the chosen squad members. Mm-hmm. So you should know going in that's like a super specific mission. And then the first time the twins got me, it was weird, but eventually they ran around behind the Hoffen and put an arrow in my tailpipe. But that was...
I'm trying to think. Like, I think the map I redid the most was the first time we fought Klaus, just because of the bullshit of him starting first and just...
Well, yeah, that was just because that's also kind of like poorly designed because Klaus suddenly has capabilities which you have no way of predicting, which fucks you over.
Yeah. As I said, but like all the other ones, it's all like, no, I'm gonna keep on struggling until I have literally reached a point where I think
I didn't lose that map twice. I think I quit that one twice because I was like, okay, hold on.
No, I definitely quit.
Yeah, the game wants me to do something here. I'm going to rejigger this a couple times until I find, I'm just going to literally breeze this with scouts again. Oh, the Hoffen blew up? Apparently that's not a big deal.
Put the fence up, evade up on Minerva, and just let her run to the objective point.
Yeah. Hey, that's how I got Crimea. Like, there was definitely a strat I could have done for that, but it turned out the solution was just to get Crimea slightly distracted and have Minerva hug the wall. I blew up the guys in the command post with the Hoffen's mortar, and then I was like, "Hey Minerva, just hug the cliffside so she can't see you. You'll be fine." Boom. Still got a B.
I think you might like the. I don't know if it's the last Crimea fight, but it's a
There's a couple interesting things. The things that bother me besides some of like the twists and turns about VC4 is mostly just the pacing. Like I've noticed this a lot with the later chapters where it's like you get a whole page of nothing but cutscenes and then you get a map. And sometimes you still get two maps, so it's like as recording sessions anyway, like you get a lot of fatigue. Like the mission I lost on, I almost said what it was, but I don't want to necessarily reveal that because that
spoilers
might give away some stuff. That episode is like 45 minutes. 30 of those minutes are me doing the cutscenes and trying to skip the dialogue and just moving through it and being like, yeah, okay, yep, this is happening. Some shit's happening. It's those guys again. Fuck me. And then it's like, and then the 15 minutes of the mission are just me yelling. Because I don't like the map. I really don't like the map. It's too visually busy. It's hard to, for me, it's hard to see and understand. I'm like, because there's like ice. The weird Ragnite icicles and stuff are everywhere. And like, you climb these cliffs with quote unquote ladders, but they're like ice steps. But
I was confusing for a second, but I was like, the ladder said it was supposed to be here. Maybe.
Yeah, you can. That's even in the clip I showed you. I'm like, okay, you can see the part where I almost missed the ladder, and then I double back, and I'm like, oh right, the ice thing, because I know the ladder is around here somewhere. So yeah, it's just not great, but it takes me about 15 minutes for that to go away. Whereas the Crimea map is like an hour and 10-minute episode, and that's the full map, which has like a gotcha objective in the middle of it, which you accidentally trigger, and then you're like, oh shit, it's happening. And then it has lots and lots of story in it. Lots and lots of story. So much story. But I'm just like the God story, damn game. I wish you'd spaced out this story better. Like, while it was really good to spend early levels, like, establishing all the major Squad E characters, right? And even the Squad F characters who stay prominent. Like, at the same time, God, if you could have sprinkled in more than just Klaus being weird in those first, 8 chapters, that would have been great if you could have paced this out a little bit better, because I feel like I'm over halfway into the game. I'm probably not, but from a dramatic standpoint, it feels like I'm over halfway into the game. We've had, our big twist in the middle. We've had our Empire Strikes Back moment, it feels like.
Oh, no, you got a couple more twists.
I know, we got some, I know from your emotional experiences, I have more, but I'm just talking from my experience playing the game, and so I'm like, God, I really wish you'd introduced my quirky mini bosses sooner, so we had more time to introduce them.
Yeah, Klaus being set up Klaus
is kind of decent. Like I said, I wish we'd gotten a little more insight to him, because Klaus is very unfortunately placed where he's the only individual enemy character, and he's so annoying. You're like, God, fuck, I hate this guy. Then, like we said on air, I think it was it a couple episodes ago? Eventually, It turns out Klaus is the only reasonable one here. Yeah. I think I said on air, on in an episode, I'm like, okay, so if the twins die in a fire, I wouldn't be sad. I said, now I know I might have said that about Klaus, then I stopped myself and I'm like, oh wait, I blew him up, so I'm fine. Like, I worked through my stuff with Klaus because I defeated him. That's fine. He's going to keep coming back, but I blew him up at least once. And I could have blown him up the second time if he didn't go out of his way to cheese through the fire.
Yeah.
I had those mortars set up. I was ready for him. Except I wasn't because I had no way of knowing where he would go. Anyway, how shit works out sometimes. But, like, the twins are just like, oh, you guys are just insufferable, and I hate you. And you have no redeeming qualities. And I'm sure I'm supposed to feel sorry for you, child soldiers, but you're just assholes,
they're not
and
child,
I don't.
They're 20. Remember, they're 20 years old.
Oh, are they 20? Then why? Never mind. Raita. Where are the character designs? They look like they're fucking 13. And if they were 13, I wouldn't bat an eyelid at a Japanese-ass game. No, fine, fuck them. They're 20 years old. They should know better. Claude is like, what, 21, 22? He's a fucking captain leading a squad in the fucking Arctic as a mature, well-rounded individual. Get your life together, twins. They're not even really twins. We just call them that. Like, Chromaria, at least I can be like, oh, she's just crazy. That's okay. I understand that.
Chromaria, I said, Chromaria has, like, they develop Chromaria later, but...
I mean,
like,
they do a very good example in her first map when she just breaks down going crazy at the end, and you're like, I see Chromaria's going off the reservation. All right, I completely understand what's up with her. I don't like it, because she's throwing fucking exploding ice mortars at me, but I instantly understand her character, and I can feel some level of sympathy for her and her giant wolf.
Better.
And well, we can't talk about Forsetti on the air, but
Oh, there's some things. There's
like the instant you see Forsetti's character, you're like, I understand some things.
That's all. Like, some shit's going down.
Like that's an
like,
instant.
There's some good
that was the only thing that's perfectly paced. That's like an instant buy-in for that character, and you're like, oh, I see. Oh my. But like I said, just the way it feels like they're paced. Like, science guy? I don't know, fucking... whatever, he's another evil asshole scientist guy. Like, if he's the big bad villain of this game, because he kind of feels like he's the Maximilian, like he's the guy pulling all the strings, pushing all the mini-bosses around. Like, he's not very well developed. At this point, like, there were some scenes with Maximilian, like, where you got some thoughts and feelings there on that guy. And Maximilian actually turned out to be kind of a dynamic character as a prince, because it was like, well, he's doing a thing for stuff and reasons, and yeah, you don't like him, because maybe he sacrificed Silvaria, who was a great character, who everybody liked, and she had huge boobs.
Various reasons.
Mm-hmm. But, you understood him really well. Like I said, science guy, he's just a fucking crazy science guy so far, and I feel like you should have tried a little harder to hook me on that guy, but on the other hand, I'm not going to meet him for, like, another... many chapters, I'm sure.
As I said, like, you're not too far from, like, understanding, like actually, no, you're actually probably several steps. But you're on your way to understanding, because things do start becoming clearer, but at the same time, the lines between black and white start getting real fucking blurry.
Yeah, no, like, because I mean, it's very obvious from the way the sequences at the end of 9 and the start of 10 are set up that there's something weird going on with the ships. But since you already told me what was going on with the ships, I'm like, where's the reveal? Here's the thing. On the Let's Plays, I keep it inside. I don't let anybody know that I know some things that are going to happen. Like, yeah. I keep my game face up for, like, the fresh experience, but inside, I'm, like, looking at some scenes, and I'm going,
I literally had to go to the spoiler channel and, like, yell my feeling. Like...
yeah, no.
Like, oh my god.
But still, yes.
But, like, at the same time, that's, like, I think one of the good things about the stories is...
oh yeah, no, overall, the writing is dynamic. Like I said, it just... as someone who is, like, playing it in, like, big 2-hour blocks at a time, it feels weirdly paced.
And again, from what I've heard, VC4 actually didn't do that amazing in sales. And I can kind of see why. Huh?
It hurts me, because that means there's not going to be VC5.
Yeah, well, as I said, like, if I remember, like, I said 2 and 3 were, like, well, actually, like, in Japan. Actually, let me see here. VC4 sales. Let me see if I can get some better data. If you have anything else
seems fairly popular in the US, at least in, like, Let's Players and stuff. Like, that's obviously a new thing. At the same time, I wonder if VC4 isn't one of those games where you might go like, hey, I'm not going to play this on my own. I'm going to watch my good friend Omega play it and yell at it because he's obviously going to, you know, be into this experience more than I am. Which is totally okay. Our not a lot of people are doing that right now. Our views on VC4 have kind of tapered off, probably because of the inconsistent schedule. I'll try and shore that up over the next couple weeks, but also some stuff. Though I will say, while Lucky's looking it up and I'm still vamping, I did save up 1 million Valkyria bucks, and I got that squad member. And now I just need to play her and her friends enough to get her squad story. I unlocked another squad story.
Okay, I haven't found any hard numbers, but I think, especially for the Western release of VC4, it came out in a very bad time, considering, because Spider-Man came out recently, Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out like soon, Red Dead Redemption 2 came out soon.
Yeah.
Fucking Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Not that necessarily VC4 is like a direct competitor with any of those games, but you know, you always know how it is with budgets.
Yeah, no, people got to like pick like and choose. As it looks like it did okay in Japan, from what I can tell. Western markets, not as well, but that's just how things usually go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and also the franchise has been kept more alive in Japan because like 3 was only a release in Japanese, 2 was was quote unquote exiled to PSP, which for the West is a death sentence.
Yeah.
But for Japan, it's like, oh fuck, we love that thing. Because
it's great.
It's funny. We're gonna have this conversation about mobile gaming in Japan again on Let's Talk FGO tomorrow because of reasons.
Oh boy.
But yes, the culture difference is very pronounced, guys.
Yes, it is.
That's why the Xbox doesn't work in Japan and the PSP does. Think about that. This is a literal true fact of their market. Like what was the big game? Was it Final Fantasy XIII that they eventually released a Xbox port of, but only outside of Japan?
Maybe, I don't know.
It was one of those big Square Enix titles, which, by the way, if we're done with VC4, perfectly dovetails into one of the other video game things you wanted to talk about.
Okay, so we have another game to talk about, but so this news recently came out. Basically, Square Enix announced that they were canceling 3 of the 4 planned DLC episode expansions for Final Fantasy XV. And also confirmed that the game director, whose name is Hajime Tabata, left the company. Like, his last day was on Halloween. At the same time, they reported a 33 million loss in just overall. 33 million. Wait, no, was it yen or? I can't. I don't know. Either 33 million yen or dollars. But either way, fuck ton amount of money.
Yeah. A lot. It was probably dollars if we're trying to be the most dramatic.
Dollars.
Because dollars are big. The only thing that's worse than dollars, I think, is pounds. If you're talking about losing millions of pounds, that's a big fucking deal. But yes, they've lost money and they're canceling DLC, and a guy left.
Mm-hmm. Like the guy's going on to make his own company. As I said, the company that are handling the DLC, they're finishing one last one and they're calling it quits to move on to something new. Like, god damn. Let's see here. I actually have their finance report up. Like, it's public. You can just fucking look at it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that's why it came out. Was that they released a financial report.
So, I'm just looking at a bunch of stuff here. But it's crazy because, like, I have very strong thoughts about Final Fantasy XV. And I'm kind of surprised that things have just come to, like, a sudden and abrupt end. I thought there would be more of, like, a petering out. Because Final Fantasy XV came out, like, 2 years ago? And they had like, 12 DLC planned? It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. It's a game where they had, like, CG movies, anime movies, like, books, like, all this stuff. Like, they had this big campaign around Final Fantasy 15. And
well, yeah,
then, like, two years later, it's like, we're done. Can't do it anymore.
Low. I had to move my mic arm because I relaxed. Yeah, no, it seemed at the time from the outside, because I never really got into Final Fantasy XV. I always wanted to, but never had the time. But it seemed to me that it sounded like what they were trying to do was recapture the magic of 7, which they're already doing with a remake. But the whole thing about 7 is that there's this big compilation of Final Fantasy VII. I will just sit up and not relax in my chair, and I will make a better sound. But that's the whole thing. Like, 7 came out, then over time there were mobile games about it on cell phones in like the early 2000s. Holy shit, Japan. There were light novels. There was Advent Children, is kind of like the sequel movie. There was Dirge of Cerberus, is like the sequel-ish game that focused on Vincent because he was always super cool. And then people were like, why did we think Vincent was cool again? I still kind of like Dirge of Cerberus because I actually played it and bought it, but I will admit that it's a very middle-of-the-road game.
It's edgy as fuck, but Jesus fucking Christ, he wore black and fucking red, and
the aesthetics of the game are really good, and the voice acting's pretty decent for the time. And also it's got, you know, Steve Blum as the Big V himself through the entire game. So yeah, no, it's like the voice acting's really good. The aesthetics are cool. For the time on the PS2, the like the FMV style like full blown CG movies were good, not just in engine footage.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual game mechanics were very middle of the road.
Yeah.
But that was a thing. Then they released Advent Children Complete. They've done some other stuff. Crisis Core
at the end.
There was the anime thing, the anime prequel thing that they released that was traditional anime. They did lots of stuff. They're hopefully still working on a remake just because they really should, because they want to make money, right?
Basically, the director for the Final Fantasy remake, was it Tetsuya Nomura? Mm-hmm. His focus right now is getting Kingdom Hearts 3 out the fucking gate, and then
which is solid. Focus there, please, Nomura-san. But still, like, yeah, but, I'm okay if it has to wait a little bit. It's just that's really a thing they could do. Like, okay, so the PC port had like slightly remastered models, but it's still a fucking PS1 game at its heart, right?
They have gone on the record to say is that they intend for this remake to fully surpass the original.
That's good. That's a thing that they can do because 7 had staying power. It stuck with a lot of people for a lot of reasons. Some of which you might think in retrospect are not good, but it was very 90s.
Very 90s.
But it sounds like what they were trying to do with 15 was we're gonna recreate that magic for the millennial generation. We're gonna make this about hot soft boys and occasionally a hard boy on a road trip with black leather and friendship and bros. But also there's a cute girl we can sell Figma of.
See, here's the thing though, is they opened up the gate with that. Like literally,
right.
It's like,
that's what I mean. Though.
And
they tried to hit with a giant fucking mass market. We're gonna tap into the fucking zeitgeist right away with movies and other bullshit. And there's gonna be a season pass DLC. And it sounds like they may have overinvested.
Yeah. Well, like here's the thing about Final Fantasy XV. It has gone through the rare yet deadly development hell, where a game.
Remember when it was? Was it? What became 15 was going to be Versus 13?
It used to be Versus 13. Then it was going to be, before that, it was a Gito.
That's right. It was what they called Final Fantasy Agito. And then it was Versus 13. And then it was just, fuck it, it's 15. Probably because 13 was a very controversial time.
Yeah, it went through several development cycles. So a lot of things got lost in translation. Some things just didn't make it into game. Story got changed. People came and went from like the staff, like shit got muddled, and like honestly it's one of those things that I think really hurt the game, which in turn really hurt the sales, because like this is what I say, I enjoy Final Fantasy 15, but I do not think it's a good game. Like there's a distinction to be there. There is there's a Patreon chat. Let me see what people are saying.
Yeah, they're just listing the order of what the projects were, because once again, it feels like Square Enix was trying to capture that magic originally with 13, right? Because there was going to be, we're going to do 13, and then there's going to be other parallel games at the same time. Oh, wait, we're just releasing 13, and then we're going to make 2 more 13s, which I think by the time they got to 13.3, people were like, this series is okay. I'll be honest, but I own 13. I never beat 13. 13 was not great. I mean, the mechanics of the game were okay.
And then I just got bored.
The mechanics of the game were okay, but it was like, compared to 12, which to me, 12, I fucking love. 12 was my big. Most people got 10. 12 was my big PS2 Final Fantasy, which is why I'm super glad they made that remake, and I fucking own it. And someday I'll play more of it. But I beat like 90% of the actual storyline of the game. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go to the final dungeon. I'm gonna do all the hunts. Oh wait, that takes a lot of fucking time. That's how 12 goes. But I fucking love 12, the aesthetics and everything. So, but 12 was super open world. It was basically a non-multiplayer MMO style game, right? Like the way it was set up was very much open world, random mobs, kind of, you know, timed combat and commands. 13 is like ultra linear, very much going back to the old active battle type stuff, and they had some cool ideas, but storyline wise, oh my god, those characters,
they're great. It's less of an adventure and more of a political drama, I'd say.
But my main problem is just, I don't know if it was the English or just the generic ass character writing, but I was like, my god, I literally don't give a fuck about half these characters for like half the game. Like, okay, Lightning's like, alright, she's cool because I'm a young teenager and like, honestly, I like badass women. And then Fang had an Australian accent, and I was like, yes, this is good. Other characters, I was like, why do you exist again? Are you trying to sell me honestly, your fucking coat?
I look at the opening sequence when you're on a train, I'm like, are they trying to copy Final Fantasy VII? They're fucking trying to copy Final Fantasy VII.
They literally were. Lightning was explicitly said to be, here's what if Cloud Strife was a girl, and they're not wrong.
Nope.
Because Cloud is actually a super played character for major storyline reasons. Not that I hate Cloud or anything. He's got some interesting stuff. It's just
he has some shit he has to work through.
Yeah. No, he's actually a real. Once you get the whole picture, he's a really dynamic character because at his heart, he's really just a dorky country kid, but he's also a try-hard, I'm a soldier, badass. And it's interesting to see those two things juxtaposed. For the love of God, I assume you're gonna do dialogue. Get good actors. I'm sure Cloud's actor is locked in already in Japan because they never forget a role. But
I just want them to give me the Japanese.
Oh, I'm sure they will. The question is just even that's kind of like that's why I said I bet they're already locked in the Japanese version. But try a little, guys. Try a little in your performance. Bring your A game.
Yeah, but the thing with 15 is they literally started with this bromance road trip, and they really never set the hook at the beginning. Literally, the game starts... Yeah, when I
what was the demo called? Was it the Platinum demo?
I don't remember.
Whatever. When I downloaded the demo, which I played, I was like, okay, I can assume what the plot hook in this story is, but where's the road trip part coming to it? Because the demo is fucking trippy.
The game literally starts with you in a broken... your car is broken, and you and the guys are pushing it to the gas station, while Florence and the machine sing Stand By Me, which is a fucking great kind of moment. But it's at the same time, I'm just like, okay, so we're having car troubles. Ooh. And then you find out, you go some shit, your car's getting fixed, and you find out that your city's got invaded and, taken over. You just find it out. You can't do anything about it. You don't see it. You don't experience it. You just hear about it. And it's like, well, your dad's dead.
Because I'm sure that was in one of the movies or animes that came out.
Yep.
I feel like that was something somebody in our Discord said, which was yeah, no, if you have to go watch an external piece of media to get the story of the core piece of media, you fucked up somewhere.
Oh, and that was Camper. Camper said that shit. I remember him saying that. Good on you, Camper.
No, and he's not wrong. That's very true. If you're the beauty of the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, some people are okay, it got excessive. We didn't need to, it's almost like how some people feel about certain aspects of the old Star Wars expanded universe. We're we didn't need to know the backstory of that rock. But almost all of it elaborated on or showed stuff or recontextualized stuff that already happened. You only needed to, when you play 7, you still get the whole 7 experience, and then the other stuff kind of comments on how certain characters feel in certain moments about stuff, where they relate the backstories of characters that wasn't clear in those games, or it, the sequelized stuff, helps give finish character arcs that are kind of left open-ended by the game, etc. Because they all came out after the game came out.
And like, here's the thing: like, Final Fantasy 15 like should have literally like started with like you being in the city, you know, doing your tutorial stuff. Then the attack happens in the city, and you know you need to get the fuck out. Then you like meet your companions, you're thrown together by crazy circumstance, you really don't know all that much about each other. It gives you a chance to actually experience character development. Final Fantasy 15 as is didn't let you do that. They literally cut out most of the character development for fucking episodes and gave you these guys like I'll tell you like this, people like here, I fucking despise Gladius, whatever the fuck his name is. I don't care. I fucking despise him. I see him, he's like a fucking abusive helicopter parent in my eye. Alright? I will argue with that with anybody. Like, 1 minute he's like,
yes, the one with the abs and the tattoos.
Yep. Like, 1 minute he's all like, tra la la la, let's go have some fun, let's eat some ramen. And the next minute being all like, be the fucking king! Be the fucking king! Next minute is like, I'm just gonna go off, wander around, and you can't fucking stop me. I'm all like, what kind of fucking bullshit guy is this? This kid literally just lost everything he knew. He's trying to come to grips with his grief and the responsibility that's been thrown on his shoulders, and you're literally screaming at him to get it together. What kind of friend are you fuckwit? Not to mention, like, after like the big shit happens, you go from being able to do open world just to the single path road. Still huge fucking day, even though like even more shit just piled onto his fucking shoulders. It's like, no, fuck you, Gladius.
Hey, guess what? Omega doesn't know which ones those people are. That's why I had to look up Gladio.
Yeah, sorry, but it's like people who played it.
He's the buff abs one.
Yeah,
he's perfect for
like
all your buff
like,
abs shipping needs.
Yep, he probably has like daddy. I think he has like legit has daddy issues and stuff. But see, here's the thing. I would have been a lot more okay with that kind of like stuff, because like, that's the thing. You can have the guy who's like, no, you need to assume responsibility. Except there's no like character development for it. It's like literally like just suddenly screaming in your face about being a king. I'm like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? And it's like the other two, Propto and Ignis. Ignis is like fucking Team Mom. Like, he's like a cool fucking dude, but like, I don't know why he's a cool dude. I don't know why he likes to cook so much. I don't know why he has like this attitude on life. Like, I don't know any of these things. Prompto, you find out a little bit about him, and he's just a fucking precious boy. You give him head pats, and you tell him he's a good cameraman. But again, know nothing about him. You get like a little bit at the end when, like, again, you're locked into the one-way street into the most like grim, dark fucking bullshit there is. And like, it's like, oh, you can just get that in the fucking DLCs. It's fucking DLC. I want character development in my main game. I want to go on, like, a road trip is great, but do you know what happens on road trips? You bond, you get to know each other better, you experience new things.
Right, because you have to hang out with people.
You have to hang out with people, so it would have been a lot better if at the start of this big
Unless
trip...
Unless you're me, because on family road trips, I just kept myself to myself. And listen
but on these things, like,
audiobooks.
When you have an objective and a mission and you're stuck with these other people, you learn about them, you get to know them better, you understand how they think and all that stuff. Final Fantasy didn't do any of that.
Yeah, I'm thinking, what, like once again, I'm thinking about it. It sounds clearly like they were trying to tap into the 7 formula, because 7's got a huge fucking world map, right? And you open, explore lots of it. There's optional shit. But no, all of those characters that you meet have distinct character arcs. The optional characters like Vincent and Yuffie are a little more broad, but they still exist, right? There's still at least a little bit focus to them, and they're in the core game. They're in the map somewhere. Yeah, but
like fucking Red 13, you get to Cosmo Canyon, you learn about his family.
That is in fact the whole plot arc of Cosmo Canyon is like, hey, you got to go into the thing and fight the evil spirits because character development. Literally, the main plot actually stops. That whole section, I don't think, has anything to do with the we need to track Sephiroth, right? Like
it was a part of the thing that, because like it's saying like the elder, like I think Red 13 says like the elder might know something or some shit.
Well, yeah, he directs you there, but
yeah,
but
it's like honestly,
the actual like the big like going into that dungeon section basically and fighting that boss.
No,
that exists only just to give Red 13 because the Elder is like, hey, kid, you're still a kid. You need character development. Go out there. Then I'll tell you the plot shit when you get back.
And fucking
the whole Cosmo Canyon.
Barrett had the whole thing at the fucking I can't remember what it's called, but the thing at the
desert
base
town under the golden saucer.
Yeah, with fucking the guy who also had a gun arm. That shit was intense.
Yeah, that was a really important scene. When you meet Sid, that's kind of his whole deal. And then when they launch the rocket, you know,
it's like all these things, like everyone had their own piece that let them develop and let you understand who.
Like I said, even the bonus characters, like when you get Vincent, and you follow like to get his ultimate weapon and stuff, you learn some stuff. That relationship between him and Lucrezia and Hojo, that's why it comes back in Dirge of Cerberus, because that's real fucked up. But and Yuffie, you understand kind of why she is the way she is when you actually get to Wutai with her in your party, and you get some it's not deep, but you get to see what's up with them.
Yeah, and so it's just like this is a game that is literally 8 iterations ahead of that. What the fuck?
Honestly, I said this in Discord. Honestly, it feels like Square Enix went too hard on trying to make games as a service happen. That's the buzzword these days, right? Games as a service. That's people are making money. Oh, you know, Destiny, Overwatch, whatever. They're like, oh, you get free weekends all the time. Oh, you can buy the middle edition for like $20, and then buy microtransactions for cosmetics or whatever. And you can, you play this. And we're constantly updating and constantly doing new stuff. GTA Online is a really good example of games as a service. I haven't heard a lot about any multiplayer action on Red Dead yet. I don't know if
I don't know. I was like, honestly, like I honestly ordered Red Dead Redemption today, and then like 2 minutes later canceled my order. I was like, no, I got Yakuza still. I'm gonna be on this.
Yeah, you don't have time for that shit. But like GTA Online was a great example. They were constantly pushing new content updates out, and they made their money by selling you in-game currency to buy a new car, a new apartment, a new base, or whatever. You could just play the game loads and get that money, but it's so easier if you drop like $20. So it sounds to me like Square Enix was very much trying to make that work. They were trying to be like, oh, there'll be a DLC season, there'll be a whole season pass, buy the extra DLC, you'll get extra gameplay, you'll get extra story. But they didn't focus enough on the core gameplay, and we're just like, people will just buy the shit later because we're fucking Square Enix. It's Final Fantasy. And guys, didn't you learn after the last 4? I feel like the last 4 titles were probably had something controversial about them. Like 11 was their first MMO, which people liked, but it was still an MMO. Honestly. But that's controversy because they're like, hey, aren't you guys usually like single player RPGs? And then 12 had some concerns about the radical shift in the gameplay, like the open world aspects and the no random battles, gambits, which is all really cool. I love that game, but like people were like, and then Square Enix listened to those people who complained, and they got Final Fantasy XIII, which was way more on point. That Magitech fantasy, the straight lines, the very archetypal characters for a Final Fantasy title. And then that was like,
literally
ooh, that's too narrow. And then 14's another MMO title, which is like, okay, these are good, but this still isn't.
Oh no! 14, the first 14 bombed like into the ground.
Yeah,
they literally
needed some expansions, right, to fix that.
No, they literally remade it and called it A Realm Reborn.
So they literally re-released the game and they're like, okay.
No, they literally destroyed the world. Literally, that's how Realm Reborn is. Bahamut shows up, blows up the fuck everything, everyone restarts.
That's a good way if you need to But yeah, so they fixed that one by revamping it because I'm assuming the first 14 wasn't good.
No. But as I said, and now 14 is like still one of the top MMOs played.
But now it's really good, but it wasn't good to start. And it sounds to me like they're having some rough times figuring out what they want to do. And that's you always got to be on the lookout for like what your new project is, what your new expanse. I know lots of people who are super into 15. I feel like they're mostly into 15 just because, like I said, oh, you're gonna get soft and hard boys in a car, and you can drive around, and look how cute this is, and you're gonna eat ramen.
I'm Omega. Like honestly, one of my favorite things to do is to literally be on one point in the map. I'll put like because you can have like Ignis, the guy with the glasses and the spiky hair, just drive you, and just let him auto drive to like the furthest point I can reach. And you can put on like old Final Fantasy music on the radio, so you can put on like the 8 soundtrack, the 7 soundtrack. I just play that and let him drive, and I chill. It is amazing because the game, if anything, it is fucking pretty. Oh my god, is it pretty? So it's like I don't need screensavers. I just need Final Fantasy 15 driving. Like honestly.
Yeah, no, that's cool that it's got that environmental aspect. But yeah, that's not great gameplay.
It's not great gameplay. What is great gameplay though is fucking chocobos. I fucking love the chocobos. They're great. They can drift.
Chocobos
they can
swim.
That's all. Like
you don't even need to breed a special chocobo to cross water.
Nope. Your chocobo can just swim.
There's a technology improvement.
Yep.
That's what 8 iterations of Final Fantasy fixed. Lucky was chocobos can now swim by default.
Oh man, like as I said, like the story, like this is why I always say there's theory and then there's application. Something can be great in theory, but how it's exexecuted in the application,
I know all about that. Actually, honestly, it's still something that's happening in the modern stuff. But before the Disney buyout, a lot of the later stories in Star Wars were like these concepts were good when you wrote them down. Your execution is very poor.
Yeah,
that happens a lot. Lots of things are clouded by just poor execution, and obviously, 15 is weird in that it's had that like development hell. Like it was originally another title, and they decided it's going to be a mainline title, and went through all these revisions, right? So like, obviously, yeah, that means confusion's going to exist. It means some of your concepts are probably lost. But still, if you're going to take it seriously and be like, oh no, this is going to be Final Fantasy 15 now. This is the 15th one. You should probably have sorted that shit out before you had years to try and sort it out.
Yeah, as I said, like there could have been like honestly, this is what I said. It could have been amazing. I honestly think it could have been super fucking amazing. Like, but
and hey, we talked about this before. You know, let people enjoy things. If you think it's super fucking amazing to you, that's fine. It sounds like it's flawed.
It's like a flawed product is not a bad product. Like I said, I enjoy the game. I do. I just also think it's not a great game. It's like I know that's a little weird to think about, but it's like I play the game for some reason. Sometimes I want fishing because you can fish in the game. The whole world's about to end, but let's go fucking fishing. But that's kind of a staple. But you also have your boys around you going, "Oh yeah, get that fish, yeah!" And I'm only like 15 minutes away from fucking abs and tattoos screaming in my face to be a king. So, well, as I said, I might pick up Final Fantasy 15 again when they release their all the DLC included version again,
which will not actually include all the DLC because some of the DLC was canceled.
Rip. This makes me so angry because that's what my original plan was. They had their Royal Edition and that stuff, and I'm like, nah.
That's a great that's how I got into. That's how I got back into Destiny. I bought like one or two of the. I think I told you about this when we talked about Destiny 2. That like I was able to look at all the dates I completed certain big story stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, there's the 2-year gap between when I last played Destiny on the PS3 and then when I bought the PS4 Complete Edition. But that's what I did. Was eventually I went to because they were like, okay, you can import one time. I'm like, okay, you're on sale. You're only like like $40 for the quote unquote game of the year. Destiny Complete Collection. Fuck it, that's a great deal. I'll get the rest of the expansions I didn't buy, and I'll play them, and I'll move up a console. And yeah, no, that's a great deal. That's how whenever I get around to buying Fallout 4, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy the Game of the Year edition with the DLC, and then I'm probably going to still be mad because it sounds like 4 makes some of the design decisions I didn't like about 3 compared to like New Vegas. And it's a terrible shame there will never ever be a New Vegas 2 because Bethesda is petty.
They are petty.
I mean that's what it sounds like when they say that they don't want to do. They only want to do in-house development, and they're like, we're not interested in letting other people play around. It sounds like you're mad that people like New Vegas more than 4, and that's not cool because I do really like New Vegas. It's great. You should learn some fucking lessons.
But what was I gonna say about 15? I was gonna say something. Shit. Oh, and it also kind of the DLC issue kind of makes me mad because they was gonna do DLC for like my favorite character, Ariana Highwind. who's literally this mercenary captain, badass woman who's in a raccoon costume and jumps around on her fucking spear and is really sexy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Like, she's a great character. You don't get a lot of like her character, but from what you do get, you know that she's a fucking badass who's not, you know, just like who's like she's a merc with a heart of gold, I think the term is.
Sure.
Which is fun. It's great. I like would totally trade her for fucking abs and tattoos in a heartbeat. That's all I'm gonna refer to now.
Actually, that's another good point, right? You can't. There's no party selection in 15. Is there?
It's just you and the boys. Again, like I said, would kind of been fine if I like during the intro you meet them one by one, you get a little bit about them, and you're like, shit, we gotta keep going. Shit's blowing
guess
up.
What? That's usually how Final Fantasy works. Like we keep talking about 7. 7 starts. It's you as Cloud because you can insert Cloud's name, and he's the avatar, obviously, and Barrett, and you don't even
get Barrett immediately.
Right. The first thing is you get a solo tutorial fight, and then Barrett's like, "Yo, newcomer, you're coming with me," and then you team up for the rest of the map, and then you grab Tifa, and then you keep going. And at some point, I think it switches back to just Cloud and Aerith?
Yeah, at one point it becomes Cloud and Aerith, and then you meet up with Tifa again, and then you go back to Barrett. Like,
and eventually you leave Midgar, and you can actually activate your world phone, your PDA or whatever it was supposed to be, and you can switch party members wherever. But yeah, they go to great pains to introduce all the party members, and they force you to swap it up, and you swap up different combinations because different people have different things because the limit breaks.
Yeah. Like, I'm thinking about the Final Fantasy XIV remake. I really hope they put, like, all the money into the fucking motorcycle scene. Oh, my God. Crazy motorcycle.
That's, you've heard of, like, tweets you can hear. That's thoughts you can hear. The moment you mention the motorcycle scene, I can hear the music to myself because, oh, my God, that soundtrack is so good, guys.
Crazy motorcycle. Like, guys, if you... Actually, let me see if I can find, like, someone did a really good remix of Crazy Motorcycle.
Yeah, there have been a lot of good remixes over the years. There's that all Final Fantasy rock band, the Black Mages, who've done some remixes. There was Overclocked Remix released a whole album of Final Fantasy VII remixes, which is fucking phenomenal. What was that, Livestream mix? I still have all those. They're great. The music in 7 is so iconic. God, just give me some fucking full-blown orchestras. That's always a thing that's been very good. Is they've done some very good efforts to do One Winged Angel multiple times. Like in Advent Children, there's the fucking heavy metal version. Oh God, no! Like that, I feel kind of like this. Some of the 7 team at least knows what the fuck they're doing. Yeah. I'm hopeful they have the right members to make the remake work. At the very least, they're gonna sell shitloads because it's the 7 remake that's finally here. But still, don't lowball it, guys. Pitch high. Aim for the stands. Which, actually, the Japanese people would probably understand because they love baseball over there.
They do.
It just reminds me, there's this one Markiplier Try Not to Laugh compilation, which, by the way, completely unrelated. I don't really get a Try Not to Laugh / Try Not to Cringe things. Like, that's just your... I mean, the goal is to make you suffer, basically. And I'm like, whatever, just let it out. If it's funny, it's funny. Personally, I find it more entertaining to laugh at the people trying not to laugh and what breaks them. But there was this one video in this compilation Markiplier was watching, which was Japanese baseball, and the guy hits a home run, and it's very clearly a Japanese announcer, but he says in English, home run, this ball is gone, like the ex-girlfriend, never to return, yelling in Japanese English. And it's like, that's phenomenal. That guy loves his job. He's great. Sportscasting is a whole thing.
It is a whole thing.
But yeah, no, fuck.
Fun fact, do you know that Japanese baseball players in Japan have, like, their own themes?
What are they, wrestlers?
No, like literally when people, like, when they come up to bat, some of them have music that gets played. Because I remember reading a story about a guy who has, like, an anime song played when he comes up to bat. It's amazing.
Actually, honestly, I think the professional wrestling joke works too, because they also have professional wrestling in Japan.
Yes, they do.
It's weird what stuff they've been
honestly, I don't know why we call it professional wrestling. Like wrestling and like wrestling is literally like a soap, like a violent soap opera for men.
Wrestling is like wrestling on TV. Wrestling is sports entertainment, I believe is what they call it. Because let's be real, most of the time those guys are busting their asses to do some of those stunts, but they're still doing stunts as opposed to like high school wrestling. Like it's a lot of it is scripted. A lot of it's storyline wrote. It's meant to be entertainment and like, but
I found it.
The pro stuff is not necessarily just that they're wrestling. It's also all the other shit.
Yeah, Japanese baseball players can choose their own entry songs. Yeah, like Decaf said that. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm posting in our Patreon chat the remix that I really like of Crazy Motorcycle Chase.
All right, I'll listen to it later because currently I'm capturing from my sound card. So.
Oh god, that's right.
That would be bad.
That would be bad. I get to listen to it.
Yeah, he gets to chill and listen. All right. So we're at almost 2 hours. Is it time to talk about Yakuza?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of any last Final Fantasy 15 thoughts. I think I got out what it says. I fucking despise Gladios. The stories are wrecked. The characters are underdeveloped. Scenery's gorgeous. Who doesn't fucking love chocobos? Combat. Oh, I got a funny story about me playing Final Fantasy 15. I don't like when it came out. This Discord wasn't around, so people don't know this. Back when I was playing Final Fantasy 15, I had just gotten my chocobos and I was running around with them because fuck yeah, chocobos. If anyone asks me why I became a genetic engineer in the future, I'm just gonna look at dead in the eyes like I just want a goddamn chocobo. But the magic in Final Fantasy 15 is, I would say, finicky at best because if you do area of effect attacks, you can hit yourself and your own party members and your own chocobos. I found out.
Rip.
They don't die or anything, but I got a heart attack one because I was fighting an enemy and my chocobo was just hanging around. Like I got off of it, was doing bad on my chocobo. I was like, all right, you go do your thing. I'll just chill here, like in the middle of everything. And all your party members get a chocobo, so there'll be 4 chocobos wandering around. So I got into the fight. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna test out this new thunder spell I made. Area effect on Thundaga. Is that what I said? I don't fucking know. Anyway, I threw it down. I completely underestimated the range of effect. I blasted everybody. Me, the enemies, my allies, the chocobos. And the great thing about this game is when you do that, you actually get a visual effect. Like everyone was like smoking and black, chocobos included. And then I was wandering around like, I was counting them. 1, 2, 3. Where's the 4th chocobo? I legit had a panic attack trying to find this 4th chocobo thing, and I literally blasted it into oblivion. Like, I spent like 15 minutes like running around in game, like checking online, like, where the fuck is this chocobo? It turns out it was actually just really far away. Whoopsie. Once I got away from like that, I was like, I came back, I was like, oh my god. But yeah, and from that point on, I barely fucked with magic. Ever. I'm like, nope, I don't trust myself with this. This is like giving nuclear bombs to a kid. Nope.
Hey, so I'm derailing again, but before we get into Yakuza, because you said you had a story to tell. You had a story that involved me posting a phrasing GIF that you said you were going to tell about What's Up.
Yeah,
I figured since you said it in a public chat, I should probably make you tell that story.
I was going to tell more at the end, but I guess it's a good time. So here's another story, lucky story. So I work at a warehouse at night, and there's not a lot of people. So and our manager, she's a pretty cool girl. She really doesn't get offended much. So we usually can just talk about what the fuck ever and laugh about it. So me and the guys we're doing our work. We're working and talking, and somehow the conversation gets turned to Black Friday. Because, as I said, we're in November. This is North America. Black Friday is a huge fucking thing. Shit might get violent. And so we're talking about how, like, we'll have to maybe fight people off, like, at Black Friday. And I say, oh, man, I should get a club because I might have to whack some people off. There's dead silence for, like, a good 5 seconds. And I go to myself, shit. I turn to one of this guy who's, like, notorious for being able to like shit talk the best of him and just like pull anything out of his ass, and he is belly laughing. He is dying, And I'm all like, oh my god. And so like, so what's up, man? And so like, so you're gonna go whack them off, huh? And I'm all like, with a club? And so like,
Phrasing, boo.
And at that point, I can't contain my laugh. I start laughing too, because I realized what I said. My other cooker was like, I know what you said is to keep my mouth shut, but this guy, he ain't gonna. And we start laughing. We have a good joke. As I said, no one's like really thinking like I'm really gonna go up to a bunch of guys and like whack them off. But we started thinking about just how fucking hilarious a story that would be if like you had like if someone that actually happened and the news had to cover that shit. So it kind of went something like this. It's all like, I was like, with everyone getting ready for Black Friday, some people might find that their Black Friday shopping has a bit of an unusual happenstance. As we learned today, that a young African-American male with very dirty and greasy hands has been going around and grabbing males in the genital areas. It's like, sir, can you please relay your experience to us? And he just panned over to this like really distressed-looking guy. He's like, oh man, I don't know what the fuck, man. I was just minding my own business. I'm waiting in line. You know, it's Black Friday. I'm gonna get me some sales. And then all of a sudden, this really greasy and dirty looking like black dude just come up and just grabbed my junk and ran off. And we could not keep a straight face like all night because then we kept coming back to this joke. Like,
that's how you know it's a good joke. Oh wow, it's really quiet. Hold on. There we go. There's my microphone and there's my face.
Like all night, like at one point, like a guy went into the bathroom and like you know do bathroom things, and like someone just came in and slapped off the light, and the dude radios me. He's like, "Hey, go whack this guy!" And I was like, "I just called back on the radio. I'm on it." Fucking more laughter. Let's see here. What other like getting off? I can't like relay them all, but it's like it's just those things like you gotta be careful what you say, because even if you mean it in like a completely different way, like how someone takes it can like completely like derail the fucking conversation. Well, not derail it, but just
and
like,
that's also why you always need to be ready to drop a phrasing.
Like I said, like see, and here's the thing: I just like even though like technically it was my fault, and you know they're kind of poking at me, I don't take it that way. Because honestly, I think if anyone actually honestly thinks I'm gonna go Black Friday and start touching guys in the junk just because, they're fucking dumb.
And so when I look at it, hey, we've talked about context clues before. Contextually, that's not the version of whack you meant, because you said with a club. Like you gave a context to that situation. So if you're literally misinterpreting it, that's definitely your fault. But it's still funny.
It's still funny. It was still hella funny. And as I said, like every time, like we can, like all this, because I think that happened Monday, and we're still laughing about it. We were still laughing about it today. It's like it's not gonna die anytime soon, and I think that's important. You need people to like, even if someone like kind of makes a joke at your expense because of something you say, as long as it's like it's like something that's like a genuine joke. Like try not to take too much offense to it and just laugh at it too, because honestly, it's all good fun. I know a lot of people like you need to be politically correct. You can't insult anybody. It's like sometimes a little bit of shit talking and a little bit of shit talking actually really helps, because like before this, like I really didn't talk to these people much because I don't tell people that I have social anxiety, because I've never actually been diagnosed with social anxiety. Like my being bipolar and me having ADHD, those are doctor certified, so I can tell people like, yes, I am this. But like I can't actually say I have social anxiety, because guess what? I've never actually got like a paper saying this guy.
Because I've said this before about myself. I'm an anxious person. I have anxiety in social situations. Do I have a hard and fast anxiety disorder? I don't fucking know. I've never been to a therapist. But I can relate to you my experiences. So like if you feel anxious in social situations, you can say that. I can like social situations give me anxiety. Do I have like capital S, capital A social anxiety?
But so like I don't talk a lot at work. Like I do my job, I keep my head down. Like the only reason I was talking is because like it was the one other dude who's pretty fucking nerdy who I can talk like anime and video games with. Like other than that, like I have to rehearse a good morning line when I see a person. Like when someone's coming up, it's like, all right, I'm gonna say good morning, Alan. I'm gonna say good morning. Like, how are you? I'm doing fine. It's Friday. Like I'm literally like as they're walking towards me, I have to rehearse this shit. and I have to remember to look at them and not down at the fucking ground.
Yes, eye contact is important, even though it's scary.
It's very scary, but you know what? You got to do it because I have to give the impression that I am a functioning male adult.
I am a responsible adult, and you can trust me. I'm not a weirdo who yells about Final Fantasy to his friend on the internet to hundreds of people. That's not what I do with my life. Actually, I can say hundreds now because the last couple of, even without voice, but also with voice, the last couple of What's Up have been very popular.
Yay!
It's good. Hopefully more people will learn to enjoy What's Up.
I do too. I enjoy What's Up. You should too. All right, but I think that's enough about Final Fantasy and Square Enix. I know we started this with talking about they're like just talking about games again. But you know what? It's another good game. Motherfucking Yakuza.
Yeah, so we talked about this last time very excitedly that Yakuza Kiwami was going to be one of the PS Plus games this month.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Kiwami is I see it every time I boot it up. It's the 10 years? I think it's the 10 years. 20 years. Whatever. It's the because it was PS2, so it's 10 years.
Because I had the original Yakuza on the PS2.
Yeah, so that's
why I was so excited for this.
Kiwami is the 10 years remake of the first one. So if you have no experience with the series at all, with the franchise, you can jump in perfectly here, like I have, and it fits perfectly. And
honestly, there is a prequel game called Yakuza 0, which actually is on sale on PlayStation Store right now because they're having this big sale.
Right.
And you can get it then. I'm thinking of picking it up, but as I said, you can play Yakuza Kiwami.
Because Kiwami is a remake of the original, so the fact that it was the original game still applies.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Zero is good, and it helps give context, but at the same time, it's not necessary because obviously the game stood on its own in the first place.
No, here's the weird thing. Like, looking at the game, I'm pretty sure there are scenes and things that are spoken of that are referenced in Zero, like, things in people's past and stuff. But, they're not really expanded. So, like, I'm interested in playing Zero.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, there's been people in our Discord be like, yo, you need to play Zero. I'm like, I'll get to it eventually, but I want to enjoy this. Because, oh my god, Yakuza Kiwami is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a simulator of a lot of things.
Yeah, I've been saying that a lot in our Discord whenever I do something different. Like, you think, you watch, like, the intro and you play the first couple minutes. You're like, oh, this is going to be a deep, gritty Japanese crime simulator. You're a Yakuza guy who's on the outs with his Yakuza, and you're going to punch thugs. And yes, you do punch a lot of thugs. Oh my god, the funeral. Woo! That's a lot of guys you gotta punch. You gotta punch a lot of guys. So for examples, I have yelled in our Discord, Yakuza Kiwami, dog saving simulator.
Here's one of mine. Yakuza, I gotta go beat up thugs for money so I can go to cabaret and pay for my girl simulator.
Which dovetails into my next one, which is Yakuza Kiwami. There's crime drama afoot, and I'm relaxing in the club, in the cabaret, drinking whiskey and eating fried chicken simulator.
I don't. There's a more that's all like a Yakuza. Let's see here. Oh man, Ash just posted something that completely derailed my thought. It's like Yakuza. It's like there's a fucking murder mystery afoot, and I'm gonna go play fucking with little race cars and bug lady women's with little kids. That's actually kind of disturbing. Of like how the game has a lot of mini games, and one of them is called Mesu King. Basically, it's a card battle game where you collect these cards of very well figured women in skimpy outfits and
with bug themes.
With bug themes, and they wrestle each other to a game of that you play with rock paper scissors. Fun. Also, kind of like I'm not sure why this is for kids.
Also, we should point out there are perfectly normal mini games. Like I failed at pool. There's also darts. There's mahjong place you can go to. There's a karaoke
shogi?
Place.
There's
a shogi place. Yeah.
The karaoke is actually pretty fun because it's a rhythm game, but it's a fast rhythm game. You gotta think.
They've said what the district is. I don't remember what district it is though. Of Tokyo.
Ash just said it. It's
Kamurocho.
Yeah. It's like an infamous like kind of red light seedy
yeah, and it is. It's a shifty place. It's full of bars, cabaret. They're called cabaret clubs, but they're basically hostess clubs. And there's a host club too, which is the male version. There's there's an adult DVD store that was kind of funny.
Oh no, there's something actually special about that adult DVDs. Actually, I can tell you because it's not that much. It's not that much of a spoiler. But at one point, if you find a guy who says he'll give you some hot info for like 30,000 yen, buy the hot info. It basically gives you a password in the adult DVD store to get access to a weapons shop, so you can buy and sell weapons there. It's super fucking useful.
There's an underground casino that I learned about in another quest that I didn't go to yet. It's full of restaurants because that's a mechanic. I
really like that.
Lots of drinking and eating mechanics.
Like you actually I actually really fucking enjoy that. Like you can go to convenience stores, you can get yourself like a fucking bento.
Oh yeah, because it's
some like
there's
energy drink.
As far as I can tell, this actually screwed me over a little bit in the start because it's hard to. It's a little hard to heal because you can only heal with items, as far as I know. Maybe after big story gaps you heal, but basically you keep your health unless you die and reset or you heal somehow. So
yeah, the funeral home was kind of sucked, but they like sprinkled like health.
Yeah, there were a couple generic energy drinks in there that I used a lot of, and that's why they tell you to stock up first. But what you do is you go to the fucking kombini and you buy ramen or buns or bentos, and that's how you heal up.
That's how up on you go. Like if you're just walking the streets, you can literally go sit down. And eat.
Which I have done several times. I have just run into street thugs and been like, "Oh, I'm a little beat up. I need to go snack up. I'm gonna go get me some beef bowl."
Yeah.
Go to a bar and get a drink, and they have like loving descriptions. I thought I had a lot of money because they give you some free stuff to start in the game. I assume like DLC type stuff you get for free. So you get some plates that you can sell for a shitload of money right away. And I'm like, oh, I'm big dick swinging. I got like almost 500,000 yen in here. And then I went to, was it Jewel or Shine? The first one. I think it was Jewel.
You can go to either one of them first. I went to Jewel first because I kind of like Yui-chan. Rina's
it was Yui, so it was Jewel. But then I looked at the menu, and like the drinks menu, and I'm like, wow. I don't want to be cheap, but these top shelf stuffs are very expensive. I went middle of the road, like I said. I drank some like aged whiskey, and then Yui's like, "Hey, can I have a drink too?" And I'm like, "Yes, I understand how hostess clubs work because I am a huge weeb." And then there was like chicken. I'm like, there's like something bowl of excellently fried chicken. I'm like, I'm there. I'm in.
30 days of chicken fingers.
30 days of chicken fingers available from our Teespring now. I haven't gone to the other cabaret club yet. I'm just wandering around because I was looking for the Mesuking kid because you just run into that sub story in the middle of nowhere. You find a fucking card on the ground and a kid dressed like a fucking doctor is like, "Ah, sir, I have lost my highly valuable trading card. Have you seen it?" And I'm like, "You mean this thing? This big titty card? I got it right here."
I love how this kid is dressed. He's actually called Professor. Everyone calls him Hakase, and I'm like, this kid is adorable. Also,
that's another thing we should point out. There's English subs. There's no English VO, all Japanese.
Nope. I'm okay with this.
Which is actually, once again, this is one of those interesting things where you can see how they localize stuff. Like my good boy Shinji in the beginning, his dialogue is translated as saying "sir," but what he's actually saying is and I know he's in the Club Save. It's like I didn't see him the first time, so like Lucky actually told me where to go. But like you hear in the dialogue, he's like Aniki, which is older brother, which in the Yakuza has some connotations, but that's the literal translation. So it's like that's interesting how they localize that, and it's cool that I, as an educated individual, can catch those things. Like there's lots of like honorifics and stuff you can pick up on.
See, that's one of those things that I'm actually kind of like sad about in like English light novels and stuff is they don't keep the honorifics.
Oh, they should. That's the best thing about Persona localizations is they keep the honorifics. And they usually keep the proper phrasing of what names they use. Because that's super... Maybe it's because I read Harry Potter as a kid, and I was totally used to the idea that British school children refer to each other by their last names, which is actually pretty normal over there. It's America's... It's our weird... friendly informality, where we refer to you by your given Christian name all the time. Most other countries, that's weird. But obviously, I think that's a really good aspect to keep in a Japanese localization, because not only does it probably help your lip flaps, but it's very important what characters refer to whom as. Like, it is a very different thing to refer to a character by their last name. Like, I'm constantly thinking of, like, how Bleach's dialogue was in Japanese versus in English. It's very important, the difference between somebody calling him Kurosaki with no honorific and calling him Ichigo with no honorific. Those are entirely different social structures that are very important to the dialogue because they mean entirely different things.
You know what I find hilarious, though, is one of the things they kept, fucking Kiryu-chan, that Majima screams at you. That's still full in there. I think it's like the only one I've seen so far.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Have there been a couple sans in there? They've probably translated a couple sans as Mister, which is a fairly decent localization, because that's the point of that honorific is similar to how you refer to somebody as Mister. Yeah. Like it's a slight formalization.
But like talking about Majima, Majima is like the fucking best. Some people, like, I was reading some of reviews about Walking Simple, and people was like, man, I'm sick of Majima appearing everywhere. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? This man is amazing. I love him.
No, he's great. He's hilarious. Like, I was a little freaked out. It's funny, given how the story starts. That's probably not a spoiler to say that, especially because this is a remake of a game that was out 10 years already, a couple of years ago. But like, the inciting incident, the reason why the game is set up is you're a Yakuza member, you're doing pretty good, you're about to become patriarch of your own family, then a guy kidnaps your girlfriend with nefarious intentions, and your bro sorts that out for you with a gun, and you take the fall for him, and are excommunicated. What was the specific localization? It was like banished versus exiled?
Yeah.
And one of them was you could come back, one of them was you definitely can't come back. Mm-hmm. But he was basically removed from the family and in prison for 10 years, which is very interesting. Japan, that you let a guy who you thought committed a gun crime go after 10 years of being a model prisoner. But okay, Japanese criminal justice. But yeah, that's the inciting incident. When that first happened, I was worried Majima was going to do some stuff, because he's sinister with an eye patch, and he like warns you. He's like, oh, everybody likes Yumi-chan, she's so great. And I'm like, listen, I know what the Japanese porn world's been like for the last 10 to 15 years. Are you gonna go that route? But no, then he's actually kind of cool later. It's like really weird. Like, at first he's super sinister, and then it's just like, oh, he's nowhere near as bad as some of these other Yakuza assholes.
He just really likes to fight, and he really likes you.
He wants to fight you, and Kiryu's like, I will only fight you for a reason. And he's like, oh, then I will wait until there's a reason, and I will be right there. I got my eye on you. And that's I
mean, he's batshit crazy, but...
Oh, yeah. Like, he fucking impersonates a police officer in one confrontation.
Dude, man. Like, okay, so I've only run into him, like, outside of just, like, randomly running to him. I've run into him as a police officer. Mm-hmm. I've ran into him under a giant traffic cone. I also ran into him
haven't seen that one yet.
I was dying about this earlier. I ran into him at a hostess club where he dressed up as a girl.
That's gonna be great when I get there.
And you actually do the mini game with him, and you actually bond over your guys' histories. It's fucking amazing.
Yes. Oh, Majima is the best. I think it's scripted, but the very first time you get a random encounter with him is you go to the convenience store and you buy some shit, and he's like, "You want that heated up?" And you're like, Majima-san. He's like, "Let's go outside and heat up." And you're like, "Okay."
And so just how he's everywhere is fucking amazing. Like, I think it's like honestly one of the. Because Majima, I think, is like literally have been voted like one of the first or second best characters.
Yeah, no, people love him, and he's great. He's a great character. He's walking around with his fucking eye patch and his leopard print shirt and his knife.
And you have like literally one of the most badass battles in the fucking bathhouse. Like, you're not gonna get like I remember it from the fucking from the PS2 era. So I'm like, I'm really excited to see how they do it on the PS4.
Yeah, and. As much as we say there's lots of just like dicking around in Kamurocho and stuff like that, there's also serious business Yakuza, like, martial arts crime drama shit. Like I mentioned, you go to you crash a funeral basically, and guess what? You get found out, and you have to punch a lot of Yakuza dudes. Oh my god, there are so many dudes. And then you end it with when a big boss guy, he rips off his fucking shirt, and he reveals his giant tattoo. I wish I'd taken off my shirt. Sadly, I don't think you can do costume changes until New Game Plus.
That's the thing that makes me angry, is because you can't change your costume at all, and yet every time you go to the hostess club, the girls are all like, "What the fuck are you wearing?" I'm like, I can't change out of this.
I would love to have, like I said, had a shirtless confrontation, but I'm all white suits right now.
When you get to the Coliseum, you get to be like all shirtless and shit, and you can see your Dragon of Dojima tattoo.
Yeah, because you're the Dragon of Dojima. And then your buddy has a carp tattoo, which is thematically important.
It is super important. Apparently in Zero, you get to see like those tattoos come into existence. Do you know one reason I figured this out is because I was playing it on the karaoke machine, and you're like having flashbacks to him and your best bud, like hanging out. I'm like, man, this is some intense karaoke.
PTSD karaoke. But yeah.
Oh man.
No, like it's a great game. I think I'm only like 6 or 7 hours in, and a lot of that's just joshing around. But it's a great game. It's free this month on if you got PS Plus. Definitely check it out. It's really good. There were a couple hiccups in like finding my rhythm in like the fighting styles at first.
Oh yeah,
because you got a couple.
By the way, Meg, you might not know this. If you want to equip or unequip a weapon, you have to re-tap the button.
That you have to double tap. I know. Yeah, okay. I figured that out.
I didn't.
On accident.
I figured that out yesterday.
I figured it out on accident probably a couple days ago. I just haven't used it much because, I do have an infinite Marlin thing I got from talking to whatever his face Bob is.
I sold that because I thought it was too weird.
It's a little weird. I'm like, I don't need weapons. No, it's a Marlin. It's a fish.
It's a Marlin cannon.
It's called a Marlin cannon, but it's a fish. It's a fucking swordfish. But they're like infinite durability or whatever. I haven't gotten into the weapons.
I said there's repair kits and shit, but like
guns in Japan is a very complex thing. I'm surprised there's so many of them in the story already, considering this is set in like 2005.
Yeah.
By the way, it's period
in
piece.
Japan, it is illegal.
It is super illegal.
Oh, yeah.
Police can't even use guns unless the suspect has a gun. That was a plot point in Death Note.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it's like it's a little interesting. I would much more expect the typical Yakuza bats, knives, and occasionally your cheap factory ass katanas.
Actually, now that I think about I haven't actually encountered a lot of guns. Now that I think about it, like, I mean, I'm carrying a gun because I've got to the.
I mean, it's up and down. There's in the first couple of plot points, seems like there's almost always like a one guy with a gun, but there've been a lot of gun deaths early in the game, and I'm like,
oh yeah, that's true. Okay,
gosh, there are a lot of people getting shot around here, and I'm like, this is. But all right, whatever. I mean, you get these are like a super powerful Yakuza.
Fucking Shinji coming in with his sweet ass coat and his gun. I'm like, damn son, you got promoted.
Yeah. Well, you've gone places in 10 years, Shinji. From that weird dork who loaned me money to buy back a ring when you thought I was going to the Soapland.
AKA some girls and some soap.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe don't Google Soapland, but use your imagination.
No, don't go Soapland. Just go play fucking just go play Yakuza Kiwami.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, like but still, like there's a lot of stuff out there. I like the rush style a lot.
I switch I usually because here's the thing, the game for fighting styles.
Mm-hmm.
There's your balanced one, which is brawler. Then you have your quick one, which is called rush, and then you have your heavy one, which is called wild. Then you have a special one fourth called dragon, which you unlock by kicking the shit out of Majima.
Yeah, that was your original style of fighting, the Dragon of Dojima style, which you use in the intro of the game. But then you
lose that because you literally sat in the jail for 10 years doing nothing, which I think is a great reason to depower somebody.
Right. Because you get a playable intro. You're real rad in the start. You have like full HP bar. You have very good combat and attacks, and then you're in prison for 10 years and it all goes away. You got to buy all your shit back with EXP.
Makes sense to me. Because there's a lot of that's one of those things about games that always bugs me. It's all like, all right, I'm a character game. Why am I so weak? What the heck?
Yeah, I mean, there's Well, there's one time your first day in prison, somebody tries to assassinate you. After that, I believe the intent is that Kiryu is a model prisoner. That's why he gets out on parole.
Yep. And then he immediately starts going to bash fucking faces in.
Yeah, so you got to recover the dragon style. But yeah, mechanically, I like Rush a lot. I wish I was better at dodging because it has dodge powers, but I'm not good at that.
Honestly, it helps to fucking be locked onto your fucking opponent, which when you're having like 5 or 6 guys, kind of hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
But as I said, I'm just now starting to get the hang of it.
And obviously, as you get more EXP and can unlock more, you can get more out of them.
Oh yeah. As I said, there's a lot of upgrades. What I like is I think it's what like Final Fantasy VIII did, where it's like to level up, you only need like 1,000 experience. Like it's not 1,000, but it's like something like that. Mm-hmm. But like to get more upgrades, you need progressively more levels. Like the first level is 1, then it's 3, then it's 10, then it's 50, then it's 85. So it's like, yeah, I think I just completed the third ring. Yeah, I think I just completed the third ring of all the styles, all the bars. Mm-hmm. And so now I need 50 levels of experience for anything. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. But you unlock some cool ass shit, yeah. Because one of the main things about the game is heat actions and climate heat actions.
Yeah.
Which are basically context specific actions you can do.
You build up your heat meter, which is your typical like super type meter, and when it's full, you can do. I think the most basic ass thing you can do is you can basically do more powerful ground attacks. Yeah, which usually you knock someone down and you can do a special finisher, basically.
Yeah, but some of them get kind of crazy. Like you can if you're by a car, you'll open up the car door, you slam their head. If you're carrying like an item, you'll smash it on them. If you're near a wall, you put them into the fucking wall. I know in one part there was a club. I literally grabbed like an air conditioning unit and I just dropped it on somebody's head.
Nice.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's another factor that I think is probably a a thing typical for this franchise is there's a lot of rando shit you can pick up as weapons. Store flags, signs, bicycles, bikes, motorcycles, traffic cones, garbage cans. All kinds of shit just lying around on this packed street district, and you could just start smacking people.
I haven't picked them up as weapon, but I've literally picked up other guys and thrown them into other guys.
Yeah, you can. You have not yet if it's an ability you can unlock. You have not yet unlocked the ability to hit a motherfucker with another motherfucker.
Oh no, I've literally that's why it's a climate heat action. I don't know how the thing, but I've done it every once in a while. You literally grab a guy by face or something, and you just spin around and hit a couple guys, and then you just throw the guy on top of them, and it's just
nice.
Damn, Kiryu.
Because you can definitely grab and then judo throw, which occasionally ends up in other guys.
Another one of the multi ones is you grab a guy in a headlock, and then you use that guy to headbutt that guy's head to headbutt another guy, and you kind of with the other guy. And damn, Kiryu.
Mm-hmm.
It's shit is violent.
Yeah.
You would think this is a fighting game. You think it could just be a fighting game, but no, it's there's actually really good story. There's a mystery.
There's also 10, we said really good entertainments. You can literally if you need to unwind from your violent criminal Yakuza lifestyle, you could just go to the shogi or the mahjong parlor or karaoke or the fucking bowling alley or the batting cages. Or the arcade, or the many, many, many things that I have not listed, and just relax, right?
So
and
here's
just
the thing: the game
do something completely different.
The game doesn't force you. The game doesn't force the tension breaks. If you're doing story, there's fucking tension.
You can keep doing story and you can keep pushing, but occasionally there'll be a point okay, I should go prepare before I go to this place, and okay, I'll go prepare. I'll go buy some ramen down at the convenience store, but also maybe I'll check out the arcade. And win at a crane game.
I've actually won several times at the crane game.
No joke.
Really
literally my second try. The first try I failed because I didn't figure out the mechanics exactly. But second try, got a thing out of the crane game. I'm like, fuck yeah. I've never played a crane game in real life. This is my masterful success of a crane game. Because crane games are notoriously rigged.
Notoriously.
They're awful. But yeah, so it's a really good game. It's great. It's got a lot of breaks.
Honestly,
I can't wait to play it again later.
I was thinking of getting a Red Dead Redemption 2 because I'm hearing that's some really good shit about this, but I'm like, I want to play Yakuza. And I still have Valkyria Chronicles 4 because the thing about Valkyria Chronicles 4 is I'm trying to stay just ahead of Omega, so in case he has some shit he needs to say, I can be all like, "Hold up, son, I got you."
Yeah, it's. I think for us, we're very. We talked about how Yakuza doesn't force the tension breaks. We have to make our own tension breaks with Valkyria Chronicles, one way or another.
Yeah.
So like and honestly, that says some good stuff about the fact that that game can be very emotionally hard hitting. But sometimes you need to take a break. I still haven't got back. I mean, like I unlocked a squad story, so when I need to record more episodes, I can at least record like plus one more. But yeah, I haven't yet gotten back. Like I've been grinding through my skirmishes a little at a time. I was also a little annoyed that you beat the Crimea mission and you instantly get that map as a skirmish. I'm like, game, you've been fucking holding out at me for 9 chapters. Now I beat a map and I get the fucking skirmish for it right away. You're killing me. I've already had to run these like 5 maps over and over again constantly. So I've been grinding skirmishes to like round out a couple extra orders and get everybody their last couple potentials. By the way, Minerva has double movement. Holy shit.
I told you, it's amazing.
I know, but it's great. It doesn't proc as often as I like, but still, it's like, oh, I'm going to double move now. It's amazing.
Damn, Omega. You just did the fucking news update, right? No, the Hunting Quest 2. That was a couple days ago. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. That was a couple days
ago. I was just saying, it's at 500. It's at 500.
Oh, yeah, no. When we post Let's Talk FGO news desk, those are fucking huge. People love those. Like, it's always weird what catches people's attention, but the news videos do their job, which is get views on small subjects, because we're not going to, the fact that the Christmas rerun has been announced. We're going to talk about that on Let's Talk FGO. We don't need to do a news video about that. The news videos are for, oh shit, they're going to release something on a Wednesday. Guess what? We've already recorded and shot our last episode over the weekend. And sometimes it's not going to be out yet, but most of the time it is. And we're not going to record for another, 4 days, so it'll be, way old news.
Yep.
But people love them. And Wanted is shockingly popular. Shit, does that mean I should do a Wanted on Jack? Maybe. I'll figure it out. When does that start? The 13th? Here's your live in-studio commentary of me figuring out what the video schedule is going to be.
That means, if you want to do it, you have to do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I definitely have to, maybe not tomorrow, but it would definitely have to be, recording it Sunday or Monday. Actually, probably Sunday to be safe. Yeah. Because I gotta post it for patrons first. Maybe, we'll see. I feel kind of there's been some, permanent characters I've skipped. So we'll see. This episode will probably be out before I have to record it, so maybe I'll get some feedback on the subject, when we're 2.5 hours in.
Well, here's the thing, because Jack definitely has a specific niche and does have some interesting backstory, so it is something you could talk about.
Yeah, I could hit on there. It's always, you gotta weigh your ups and downs. For instance, I didn't do any special video coverage for the Knights of the Round banner because I'm pretty sure we've covered all those people, either through What's in a 5-Star or one of our first servant spotlights was on Artoria, and then I did a deliberate Wanted for Lancer Artoria. We covered all that. I haven't done a Wanted on Mordred, I guess, but do I need to? Audience?
I'm gonna post it here too because I like this song.
Yeah, we have our music channel, which is super, super great sometimes.
Sometimes
just throw rando stuff out there. But yeah, what was I saying? Yakuza's great. Do we have any more specific thoughts on Yakuza?
On Yakuza,
I'll take that long pause as a no.
Yeah.
That's fair. So I think the final thing I wanted to touch on is we're at 2.5 hours, and it's probably good to wrap up, get some dinner, shower, all that fun stuff for us. Mm-hmm. Lucky you can go sleep. There's just one more thing I wanted to point out, which was, as of the time of recording this, on the X-Wing video that I released today, I mentioned briefly the concept of doing videos focusing more on the Legend of the Five Rings RPG, which is also by Fantasy Flight Games, because I really like it. It's amazing. Holy shit, I can't stop making characters. I still can't stop. I'm really just creating almost literally every character there is so I understand how this game works. But the question was, would people want me to do videos focusing on the RPG? like on news about it, on other stuff. I can't really talk about the card game yet. Maybe someday. But I could do like lore analysis or talk about because one of the things I'm doing with all the character creation is actually like figuring out the pros and cons of all the different schools and families and stuff. So if people would be interested in those kind of videos, let me know. And I'll consider shooting some stuff because that's a much like talking about my own tabletop game. That's like a thing that I could easily do just pure original content on all the time and just talk about stuff. Basically, do you want to give me more excuses to talk about stuff? Oh, also, we really should figure out... Have you guys finished buying all your gear yet? We should really figure out a day to play games.
Like, honestly, like, I could probably play, like, tomorrow or Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know. Remember, we got to record a show for, like, an hour and a half tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you got time after that, sure, we could take some breaks. We go about it,
we can
but
take, like, a break because, like, my capacity for talking, I think, is a lot bigger than yours, honestly.
Yeah. It depends on the day and the circumstances, but yeah. But okay,
like, honestly,
so
my problem with talking is when I run out of things to talk about because I literally forgot about half of the things I want to say. So I'm just like, I got a default, and my default is thank you, human brain.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we'll see maybe some actual plays will come out soon. We should probably drop that in our tabletop chat about today or tomorrow. Or tomorrow or the next day, whatever. Time, space. Listen, the episode's gone on for 2.5 hours.
All right, well, one last thing I wanted to bring up before we crash out of here is here in North America, the elections have come and gone. They're still tallying up a few things, but there's been a lot of There's been a lot of like things that were confirmed. Like, for one, the fucking House is back over to the Democrats, which is actually kind of amazing because I think they needed 53 seats to pull that shit off, and they got it.
Yeah. The Senate didn't flip. It actually got more certified for the Republicans, but the House did flip, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm. We're not gonna get like super political here because I said all people, all walks in life and stuff, but there are some interesting things here. Like this election year has had the most ever women elected to Congress, like the most ever women attempt it and the most ever to actually make it. So we've seen a big push in actual like reach and equality in gender in our I don't even know how to call this, in our fucking Congress. There we go.
That's the word. Yes.
And there's actually been a few comments like for one Alexandria, I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce this right. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, literally the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. This woman is 29. She is 2 years younger than me, and she is in Congress.
Shit, and she's still a few years older than me.
Yeah, and
what am I doing? In my
life?
She's
still a fucking millennial because she doesn't have a job right now, and she's trying to be paying rent for the next few months until she actually starts getting her congressional paycheck. That's crazy. She's a Democrat for New York, I believe. I don't know exactly what district in New York, but like also with that, we've also have our first this other woman is a fucking doozy. Minnesota Congresswoman, let's see how to say it, Ilhan Omar is literally the first Somali American elected to Congress. She's a refugee. She's the first ever refugee, the first ever Muslim, and there was one other one. I can't remember. But just her by herself is a lot of firsts. So this election year is really pushing forward, what's the word I want to use here? Progressive ideals, I would say. It's
we're doing lots of new stuff. And I know quite a few constitutional votes for states passed. There was some more legalization of marijuanas. Some more states went full recreational, some went medicinal, stuff like that.
Let's see. Here in Washington State, we had a bunch of initiatives. One was for here. It was actually kind of interesting. One was that was basically a vote to institutionalize more police training and like behavioral adjustments, and also they took away the need for the act of I can't remember what it is. You're the criminal justice major, but it's the police thing where they have to act with malice to be tried in court or something. They took that out. They no longer have to be proven to be acted with malice to be tried in court. If if an officer just shoots someone dead, they could be taken to court.
All right, yeah, that's good.
That's a gun control. For semi-automatic like rifles and whatnot, you actually need like more the background checks, and you need to be 21. It's no longer 18.
That's always that's always a weird distinction, but sure.
Yeah, I know, but
I mean, at least if your concern is probably the big one, that does technically take them out of high school age.
Yep.
In Florida, I know there were a couple one of the really interesting ones that passed in Florida was one of the amendments which returns voting rights to a lot of felons if you weren't convicted of a violent or sex-based offense. A lot of them get their voting rights back, which is mean there's going to be like 1 million more voters in Florida next time.
Wow.
Or something like that. So, yeah, it's really interesting, and I'm glad it passed, because rehabilitation is a thing, guys.
I said it should be rehabilitation, not imprisonment.
Yeah.
God damn it.
There was also, hey, guess what? I remember the funny bill I mentioned about offshore drilling and banning vaping? That passed by a lot. I wonder why.
Oh, man, there was a couple. Let's see. There was the grocery tax, the fucking police training, gun control. There was one more. I can't think of what it was. Like, it was a major initiative. Fuck, I mean,
even if he didn't win, I think it was super interesting watching the Texas senator race where a Democrat came within this close in Texas. That says some things about our current political climate. Because there are, quite frankly, a lot of states where you're like, oh, that's never going to happen. Like California, you know from the way that state votes overall, no way you'd get like a Republican senator to win usually. Like, you'd almost never vote for a Republican presidential or have your electoral votes counted for a Republican presidential candidate in California. Texas is kind of like that. Like, it's interesting to see that kind of shake up because, I mean, personally, I think kind of like a lot of the deadlock and the ideological deadlock in this country is not great.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always good if you can shake stuff up a little because people need to learn to start coming at things from more angles.
It's not good to be too left or too right.
Yes. Not at least in a singular capacity, right? Because then you get locked in, like I said, you get locked into your ideology. The best way to handle problems is to be flexible, to be open to multiple solutions and look at multiple angles and kind of, figure out what works.
And not try to slam the same solution into every problem.
Hi.
Oh my god.
But okay, we talked about serious stuff. The show is now almost 2 hours, 45 minutes.
I think this is a good point to start wrapping up. Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Like, I actually hit all the points I think I wanted to talk about. I gave some anime recommendations. We talked a little bit of elections and politics, video games.
We talked lots about video games.
Yeah, that's what we usually do. See, like, while I was thinking about those shows, we actually need to talk about, like, actual, like, events going on, not just us vamping about anime or video games.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the show definitely was pitched as kind of a what's been happening with us in the last week or so, and obviously anime and video games is a big part of that. But
Yep.
That said, I think we've definitely hit a theme.
Oh, here's something I do want to say, because this I meant to do this like last week, but I said just the way the conversation went, I wasn't given the chance. But someone actually linked like a news article. It's like, hey, maybe you should take this look out and talk about it. I was totally meaning to do that. It's just like sometimes the conversation gets away from me because I don't like. Honestly, I don't like cutting off Omega when he's on a roll, and last week he was super on a fucking roll.
That probably happened.
But if there's any news or articles that you think is interesting and you want us to see and maybe talk about, like, don't be afraid to share them or show them to us. As I said, hit us up, because if you want to know our thoughts on a particular subject, link it in YouTube, link it in our Discord, share it on Twitter. There are plenty of ways to read us, and like a lot of stuff, like if it's a contradiction, we can talk about it.
Yeah. If you give us something to read about it, so we know what it is, we can have thoughts and feelings. We're good at that. We're good at thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, like the article in question was basically Sony was cracking down on their censorship, like even on their Japanese titles. And like honestly, I thought that was an interesting subject, but as I said, I just didn't really have the chance to bring it up. So I was like,
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Because,
it was in the like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was on the What's Up 2 weeks ago.
That's me yawning, by the way. All right, I think that's probably, unless you got like any one more things out there. I'm out of one more things, so let's go ahead and wrap this up because it's like almost 7 o'clock.
One more thing, no more, Uncle.
No more things. Magic must defeat magic. All right, with that, let's wrap the show. If you like this video, give it a like. Those are very important engagement. If you have any comments, like we said, leave them in the comments section down below. Any comments at all, whether or not they're like directly related to, oh, you want us to talk about this or whatever, just your thoughts and feelings, communicate them to us. You can also reach us in our Discord, that link's in the description. And of course, if you're new here and have not already, please subscribe. If you're still here and you're new anyway. I know they always say treat every show like it's somebody's first, but goddamn, wow, I can't imagine getting into us for What's Up sometimes.
I tell people, I can't believe that people just listen to us in general.
It is always a little weird, right? Also, even if you already subscribed, don't forget that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video, because, as I've said, it's not like we're at a point in this channel where our schedule is like locked in super far in advance, so, you know, you never know when something will roll around and get posted. And of course, like it says at the front of the show, you can support us on Patreon. You can access episodes early, including this episode, in an audio format, downloadable right after it's recorded, for as little as $1 a month. And it just warms the cockles of our heart for you to do that. Also, we do have merchandise and like t-shirts and stuff, but nobody buys those, so listen, someday people will buy them, and they exist for now.
It's a placeholder. It's like we should probably like lock down the StudiOmega domain name so no one just steals it from us.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll figure stuff out like that. And then we could do integration because Teespring is great. They're actually, I mean, like their design tools and their like profit split with us is great. It's just we don't have enough eyes on target and interest to sell the merch yet.
I have ideas, but Lucky is horrible at art and it takes fucking forever.
Yeah, that's right. You were gonna. When was I doing Kara no Kyokai reviews, and I said I wanted you to graphically design a Mystic Eyes of Doki Doki?
I worked on it, then I fucking hated the eyes, and I was like, fuck this!
Yeah. Anyway.
And then I got busy.
Yeah, you did something else. That's how it works here. That's okay. There's lots of projects I have also been like, herp to deer, I'm going to spend my entire life on this. I'm done already. I'm done with this. But yeah, so it'll really help us out. Other than that, yeah, tune in next week for another What's Up, where I'm sure we'll have more stuff to talk about that's video games or anime or tabletop games or anything.
Yeah.
And also tune in soon. Tomorrow we're going to record Let's Talk FGO, so the audio of that at least will be posted a day after this. The video, that's whatever Editor Lucky feels like.
Editor Lucky's going to try at the latest to get it rendering on Monday, so like, the earliest it could be is either Monday or Tuesday, probably.
But yeah, that'll be out there sometime, but we'll definitely be recording it tomorrow. And, you know, look for other projects.
Yeah.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Let us.